Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Stogie Geek Show. I want to mention our other sponsor, Havana Cigar Club. You can find a $5 off coupon on the StogieGeeks.com website. Good for $5 off a drink and a cigar, the Havana Cigar Club. That's Havana-cigar-club.com. And again, you can find a $5 off coupon on our website where you can go eat, drink, and smoke all in the same place. And I'm going to bring on all of the rest, the wonderful Stogie Geeks crew, as we get ready for our next segment and the cigars that we've been smoking. Even going to switch to my camera while I was giving that introduction. I'm a little late on that. I apologize. You were looking at Will smoking a cigar, which is that's an experience in itself to watch Will smoke a cigar, as we've all said in the past. So, Will, it's good to have you here on the show. I know that you provided a lot of samples to us, which we have not yet smoked. Although I think Mark Jr. lit up one of his
I'm going to
samples.
smoke a whole bunch tomorrow. I'm going to smoke my
I
fucking
did.
brains out.
I think this is actually the sample you gave us, though.
I didn't know you were
Yeah.
sitting on them for that long.
Actually, it's one of my.
Paul.
So, as
I got two. I got two cigars, so thanks. I appreciate that.
No, they both got an entire bag. It was samples that Will had collected, and it was samples that I've collected that I distributed to the various members of the show. So, and it's good to note, and Will keeps me honest on this one, that a lot of times when we do get samples, they are given to us free. So a lot of those samples were gifted to us.
That doesn't matter. It's just
We're going to give you the honest opinion, regardless
Right.
regardless of whether it was a free cigar or whether we paid for it. Now, Will, you bought the cigar that we smoked tonight. Is that true? The Reynado?
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
the MSRP your way?
Yeah. What'd you pay for it out there in Raleigh, North Carolina, is where you live? But you got these somewhere else, right?
It was in Greensboro, North Carolina. I think it was
No. You got to say Greensboro.
Greensboro.
You got to get that southern twang, Will.
That is not going to happen.
Oh, Will, I love you.
I think this is around the $9 price point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a tobacco?
Yeah,
Paul,
there's no
hold on. I'm just going to fix your microphone real quick.
What
How's
kind
that?
of tobacco tax do you have in North Carolina? Is it any or
Yeah, it's 14.
14%? All right.
All
Yeah.
right, so that could be a little cheaper up this way. Just curious.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, anyway.
$9.
Anyway, I think we're all in agreement. The flavors on this Reynado are fantastic.
Yeah, I knew you guys would like that, and we always want to have a good smoke for our smoke of the week. And I had smoked this at the show. Antonio gave me one. It was my 7th cigar of the day, and I actually tasted it.
You
Yeah.
actually tasted it.
I actually tasted it. That's how I knew this
God
was a good
bless you.
cigar. Yeah.
I'll
Because I
tell you,
can't
the
say that
back
about others.
nine. The back of that cigar was better than the front. Not that the front was wrong. That's not what I'm saying. But all the flavor was right there, and the retrohale really changed that whole smoke.
Yep. I agree. I totally agree with you. on
So,
that.
Mark Jr., I want to go over to you, and I gave you another sample from Ashton.
Yeah. Yep, the San Cristobal Revelation. I did a little research on it, actually, while...
I've got some notes on it as well. If I
it's-
can find them, I'm going to.
and I kind of nailed it a little bit. It's a wrapper that's being used a lot right now, the Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper. It kind of has a distinct color, so, that was kind of a giveaway.
About the wrapper, it's a lower priming Ecuadorian Sumatra that comes from the same field as the Ashton VSG, which I'm
kidding.
told is grown at a higher elevation.
Right.
So the cloud cover gives it kind of a natural shade.
Right, that's the way they use it. Well, it's not
Virgin
shade
shade
grown. Right,
grown.
Yeah,
exactly.
yes.
Virgin shade grown.
No kidding. Okay, well, that's
Anyway.
something I didn't find on their website real quick, but I'm a big fan of the San Cristobal line. I
am
I
too.
still think
Me too.
the regular San Cristobal is my favorite of all the lines that they've come out with. But this is a nice addition to it.
Yeah.
I think it's a fiver so far,
I love
and
the
I think there's
Classico
nothing
line.
wrong.
The Classico on the
So,
VS, on
The
Cristobal.
regular San Cristobal, no second band. That's the one right there.
So
it
the-
ages
Yep.
really well.
You're smoking the Revelation. I've got a few more notes on that. It's a medium body, which is meant to be between their Elegancia line and their San Cristobal line. It's made in the Pepin factory. It comes in, Coop put this on his website. Comes in Robusto, Toro, Corona Gorda, which are all box pressed, and then a 60 ring, and one other Parejo. You can find more information on the Cigar Coop
You
website.
must have given us the Robusto, right?
He did, yeah. You're smoking
Yeah.
the Robusto right there.
Good. It's very
So-
it's very good. It's definitely, a fiver at this point for me. It's got that, if you've, like I said, the Sumatra wrapper is really popular right now. So, it's not reinventing the wheel by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a good, solid, tasty smoke.
So, Paul, I wanted to. So, you and I we're just lighting up our second cigar here of the night, and we're smoking the Debonair. Phil Zangi, right? Who I had the wonderful opportunity to meet. Phil, I think it was last week. We all met Phil. He's a great guy. We tried to get him on the show tonight, but I think we're going to try and get him on next week. Yeah. But Phil's definitely going to come on the show. He's an awesome guy, very charismatic,
passionate.
His line is called Debonair. So, Paul, why don't you tell us a little bit about the line? Because you brought it in here to the store, and I know you're very selective as to what you bring into the store, and you spoke very highly of this cigar, so I want to hear your thoughts on it.
Well, I met Phil, oddly enough, over breakfast. Mark and I are walking down, and we're going to grab a little coffee in the morning before the trade show, and I hear a good friend of mine, Kurt Kendall, with the 724 line, yell out, "Phil Zangi!" And this guy came along and basically started talking and never stopped. And
it hasn't since, right?
Yeah, it does have the gift for gab,
he
right?
just didn't stop talking, but you know what? He was very, very genuine. And
That's
I think
a great word to describe
Yep, I agree.
Mark and I spoke with him for, we had 45 minutes and
Seemed like
talked to
hours,
him throughout the show, after, and gave us samples. And the one he gave us was that Saguita.
Saguita.
Oh, that's the one you gave me,
The
Mark.
little
Yeah.
Saguita.
That's not the
Oh.
one.
Yeah, that's
this
what
is
we're
I'm
drinking
smoking
right now. Yeah.
And that's like a little petite
I
Lancero.
tell you what, this is opening up
I have
fantastic.
to tell
Flavor
you,
bomb. It's a flavor
Yeah.
bomb.
Isn't it? It just, I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
I'm going to tell you something. I really do believe this. I smoked the cigar, and I was like, wow, is it that good? So, I went back and got more samples, and Mark and I looked at one another and said, man, this thing is really,
It was a
really
surprise.
flavor. What a surprise. And, it's the problem. Again, he's very, very selective. He will not let stuff go until it's ready. I ordered at the show and received my order, Friday?
Last Friday, yeah.
Last Friday.
Brought it up to us. Because
He hand-delivered them.
how many people do that?
I had to wait 3 months to get them, and it was worth the wait.
Yep.
Dude, just for folks listening, Phil Zangi, maybe you could tell where Phil Zangi originally came from, because he's got some history in the industry. In case people.
Oh, he's got a history. Go ahead.
Phil's family owned Indian motorcycles, and I think they go back to 1901.
Oh, yeah.
Very early
Yeah.
on. Very, very early on.
Indian was 1901, and it's quite the colorful family.
They were the pioneer of American motorcycles.
They
were the pioneer of American motorcycles.
I'm not
if,
really.
If anyone knows anything about a motorcycle, it's like anyone that knows about a cigar, they know what a Padron is. It's the same thing. And also, of course, he worked very closely with Rocky Patel.
Yep.
Yeah, that's probably more got to do with it than Indian motorcycles.
He
at
was
this
what
point.
one of the founding fathers. Indian tobacco.
Yeah,
Indian tobacco, yep.
Yeah, where Rocky was on a road with his face out there, but Phil was
the man
backbone.
behind the scenes.
He was the man behind the scenes.
He really is something.
He's
So
had his hand in the
I
industry
smoked
for a while.
a Robusto-sized Debonair this week. And I tell you what really strikes me about this blend is that right down from the aroma that you get from the pre-lit draw and the aroma off the foot, all the way down to the final third, I find it to be very unique. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
we smoke
yeah,
a lot
yeah,
of different
yeah,
cigars for
Yep.
the show, right? I just find the whole flavor and aroma experience to be very unique, which is you don't
Everyone's-
say that about a lot of cigars, right?
Every cigar, every different size I've smoked differently. I smoked the Robusto was different. I smoked the Toro was
15
different.
bourbon.
And
Bourbon.
I'm smoking a
me to talk about
Salomon.
The bourbon. Talk about it?
The king
Yeah,
of
we should
that
talk
wine.
about
Some.
And the Saguita smokes entirely
Signature.
different.
Yeah.
Yes,
mouth.
it does.
Now, again, I prefer that smaller size. So
Yeah.
the Saguita just...
This one is smoking
I
fantastic
felt
now.
he
I
sucker
wanna
punched
see-
Mark and I a little bit because that was the one he gave us. He
Yeah.
said, "Hey, I want you to try these."
When I was talking to him that
I
day,
can't see
I
what
thought
you
he was
think of that Salomon.
he was a great
Yeah, I'm curious what you
conversation.
think of that too. So
And,
Paul's lit up. I'm sorry, Paul's lit up
Yeah,
the
let's
Salomon.
go around the table.
Paul lit up the Salomon version of the Debonair, which I bought one of those as well.
Oh,
I'm curious
I want to see what he
to
thinks
smoke
about
that.
this.
Yeah, and I'm smoking the Saguita. Mark's still working on his Revelation, and you are
Sagitta.
still.
It's
You
my
lit up a
second,
Sagitta?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's my favorite, but I guess second favorite. I'm not going to show that until.
So,
Paul's done.
and sorry, just to finish up on my Robusto, I can't put my finger on it, but like I know I like it. It's tough for me to describe the flavors because it goes through some nice change ups. And I tell you what, this one had a good amount of strength, and that caught me off guard. I wasn't
yeah.
prepared for the.
These are full body cigars.
They are very full bodied, not overpowering like strength, but they've got a good amount of punch to them, and it's really not. And I tell you what, I'll be buying more of these.
The word I use for this cigar,
It's one word. I know.
and it's the one word that comes to mind for me. Balance.
Yeah.
They pack a ton of flavor. Anybody can make a strong cigar. Just load up to a hero and slam you. But these things have balance, and they perform.
He said something to me when we were here that he wanted it to remind him of prime rib.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, I thought he was a little crazy when I was talking to him. And he is a little crazy. And I still think he's a little crazy. But I will say this.
Oh, he is. He's
I don't
insane.
get the meat flavor that he was talking about. But what I do get
Crazy
is I
in a
get
good
like
way, though.
Yeah, I'm crazy. Is a fatty flavor to it.
That I get.
You see
I
what I'm
get
saying?
that.
Like
Yes.
it's like a
Yes.
fattiness, like a richness of that you would get off the fat of a steak.
Right,
Or something.
and it's funny. See, that's what I got. Where it was funny. We have one of our loyal listeners and customers, Ken Horn. He picked up the meaty flavor. I picked up the fatty flavor. It's funny. That's a great call.
That's a great point.
That's what I get.
You know, with the Robusto size, I had it as a 5-er. By the time I got finished with the review, I'm like, this is a box split. I think that because the way it's going to age, it's just, I think, going to be very special, the way these are going to age.
What he's done with the Dominican, of course, with the wrapper makes a lot of difference. And what he does, I guess it's, he calls it an ultra premium cigar. And, you know, words sometimes can be misused. But what I'll let Phil do the talking for us next week. He'll describe what he goes through at the process. It's incredible.
Yeah, there's a lot to it, huh?
A lot to it. I want Phil to describe it because I don't want to leave anything out. So next week when he comes on, he's got a lot to tell you.
Dictionary describes debonair as having a sophisticated charm. Mm-hmm. I think that
Like
I think
me.
that really describes. Oh yeah, just like you.
Just
oh,
like
yeah.
me. I got charm. I'm all.
Yeah, he told us. Because I asked him, what were you looking for? What's the name? And that's what he told us.
He said, I looked at you, Stogie Santa, and I just couldn't help. Call it debonair. No, go ahead. Anyway.
Lightning is going to
Yeah.
strike you. Strike us down.
So I want to get Coop. What was, if you could pinpoint in one or two different flavors on a Sagitta, what would you describe that?
You know, it's been a while, so you caught me off guard with that.
Okay, what I
Yeah.
love about it, I get a little spice off it, right?
Yeah.
What I really enjoy, that's what Paul, again, I'm not trying to hop on Paul's bandwagon. That balance, nice spice, and then what I got, you got a hint of grassiness in the background. You can get the Dominican flavors coming through, right? And then, like I said, right through what Mark said, Mark Jr., that fattiness of a steak that comes off it's incredible.
And I got it more out of the bigger ring gauges.
Oh, out of Salomon.
When I smoked, I haven't smoked my Salmon yet, but the Toro
either.
that I did smoke, it was really prevalent in that. The spice was toned down, and that really fatty, chewy type flavor to it was really prevalent to me.
Right.
And
Sagitta's
enjoyed
totally
it.
What you
different.
said about the spice is absolutely right, Junior. The Sagitta packs a lot more spice
And strength.
than the Robusto and the Toro. Now I have to tell you, Stogie Santa agrees with me on this. We smoked the Toro. The Toro smoked beautifully.
It did, and I'm not a Toro
But-
guy.
There was the
How
Toro.
about I said
was-
it, Phil? Remember?
Yeah, the Toro
Needs
might
time.
have been a little young. I don't know if it was there yet. I'm not quite sure.
It's-
It
it-
didn't,
I-
and maybe
it's
it was
not
because
there
I
yet.
went from the Sagitta to the Toro.
No, we sat down. We were at Pasquale Square, and Phil, Phil will take good and bad. I said, Phil, I've smoked each and every one. The Toro to me needs the most time. So anyway,
Will,
let's
over to you to talk about some of the stuff that you've been
Right.
smoking this week. I've been keeping a close eye on what you've been smoking, so I'm curious to hear
Yes, next.
the verbal description of everything that you've got on your list.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm actually going to start with two cigars that we kind of cut off last week because they were such good cigars. I want to talk about them.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so the first one was I got to smoke a pre-release of the Casa Fernandez Aniversario Boheme 35. So that's going to be the cigar. It's about to be released for Casa Fernandez's 35th anniversary. It's actually technically the 35th anniversary of Tabacalera Tropical, which was the company that Eduardo Fernandez bought from Pedro Martin. This is a Nicaraguan Puro with a Cuban C Corojo 99. Now, normally with Casa Fernandez, I like their Maduros better than their Corojos for whatever reason. So I was a little skeptical about this. But this one was great. This one was absolutely great. It was a classic Nicaraguan Puro with it had that earth, it had coffee, it had some pepper, it had a little bit of dried fruit in the background. I'd say it was a medium to full in terms of strength and body. Burn was spectacular. It's actually a 6x54 box press it's going to be. So the picture I have on Stogie Geeks, it's unbanded because it was like pre-release. But this cigar, I think, is going to be a nice hit for them. It's going to be limited, from what I understand, and it's a one-time run, is what Paul Palmer told me.
Mark Jr., over to you.
I did. I had a lot of fun with this, actually. Paul's shop, Mr. J's, recently just really got their Romacraft, first Romacraft shipment. So they got the Aquitaine, they got the Cro-Magnon, and they got the Intemperance BA 21. And I bought them all in the 52 ring gauge, and two of them were 4 by 52, and one was 4.5 by 52. So the Aquitaine was 4.5 by 52 knuckle dragger. Petit Robusto has an Ecuadorian Habano Ligero wrapper, a Cameroon binder, which was interesting, and three types of Nicaraguan in the blend, in the filler blend, which is an Seco from Esteli, a Viso from Condega, and Ligero from a small farm near the Honduran border. The Cro-Magnon is the exact same blend, except it has a Connecticut broadleaf Maduro wrapper on it. And the Intemperance, which was a 4.5 by 52 Petit Robusto, a little bit of a shaggy foot at the end, nice little touch. Had a Brazilian Arapiraca wrapper, an Indonesian binder, and a Nicaraguan Dominican filler. So to date, prior to this, I'd only smoked the BA, the Intemperance BA 21, but the Petit Corona, the one that Gravity had sent to us that day. So I was, and I really liked it.
Right.
And so I was really excited to do this and try these. The Aquitaine and Cro-Magnon are sister blends, as I'd mentioned, being the only difference being the wrapper. I found them to be very different, though. The Aquitaine
absolutely
was much stronger. The pepper and spice I really thought were very good. The Cameroon sweetness was a nice compliment, and I thought it was very cool that it was more subtle.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it was because it was the binder rather than a wrapper. That's predominantly a wrapper leaf, so the Cro-Magnon, on the other hand, was not as strong, but what it lacked in strength, it gained in complexity. I thought it had that, it had a nice little spiciness to it, obviously with all that Nicaraguan in it, especially with the Ligero, but it had like a nice little cocoa flavor to it, and the Cameroon sweetness I thought kind of came out a little bit more because it wasn't overpowered by the Ligero wrapper.
Great point.
I thought both of them were probably in the box split range.
But no, both, you mean Aquitaine, Cro-Magnon?
Aquitaine and the Cro-Magnon.
Yep.
I believe it's called the Cro-Magnon Aquitaine, and then
Yes.
it's the Cro-Magnon.
Right, exactly.
But I'm just to make
Yep.
it simple.
It
It's going to
sounds
be the
simple.
Aquitaine and the Cro-Magnon,
Right, it can
right?
get confusing.
Then the
Intemperance.
Intemperance also had some nice spice, but it had a nice woody flavor to it, and it was it had like a toasty feel to the experience. Unfortunately, the first one I had a small void. I was able to smoke past it. The second one I smoked was perfect. So, hey, it probably was just a small little blip. It wasn't even something that completely destroyed the cigar for me. That one probably fell more as a fiver. I definitely like the Petit Corona better than the
Petit Robusto.
Petit Robusto in that blend.
So you're saying the Aquitaine and the Cro-Magnon box split
all day long.
And the Intemperance,
and I think it's going to get
Intemperance in the Petite Robusto is a $5.
yeah, but the Intemperance in the Petite Corona is box worthy,
I
in my
gotcha.
opinion.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
You did some serious smoking in that line.
I
It was
did.
fun
good
for
of
me,
you.
man.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought that was really fun, and I wanted to do them all together like that because it
Yeah.
was just a little bit more
that's
cohesive
what,
that way.
Paul and I, it was funny because I had the same experiences. Paul and I sat down. We're at the show wearing two hats. When I'm saying retailer and wholesaler at the same end, it's hard to see everything. So we did it after the show, and Paul said, "Okay, we got so many new blends," and he sat down. And Paul, when you see him smoking, when he doesn't say anything or anybody, I knew it was a done deal.
Yeah, and
a
it was
done
really.
deal.
I
was a
thought
done
it was particularly fun to try them all in the
Yeah.
same ring gauge because that really kind of gave you
Yeah.
an accurate
That's a great way
outlay
to do it.
of how the blends were different than each
Yeah.
other. To be honest, so.
I actually like the fact that, maybe we should have been on board immediately, but, it's so much stuff. And, Coop, I'm sure you can attest to this. Everything slams at once. It
Yeah.
Just, and you can't.
No, it's a
like
great point,
Somebody
Paul.
walks in.
Yeah.
What do you got new? Well, I got 15 of them. It just doesn't work. So to get the Romacraft in later and say, you know what? I've got like one or two new blends that we want to work.
Can
with
almost
right
generate
now.
some buzz by
brands.
bringing them in. Yeah. No, I
And-
agree with that.
and it was
wholeheartedly.
true.
Let them carve out their niche,
You know?
and then,
Yes.
and then
I think I smoked the Intemperance BA first, and like I said, and I got just very quiet and was just really into the cigar.
I will say this: all three of them are very unique.
Totally,
they
totally.
are definitely
And-
on their own.
And can I tell you
wavelength.
something? I've smoked one of each. I've only smoked 3 of them, and every one was so unique. I don't know which one I prefer yet. I'm
The
not sure.
Accutane I just like the most because I know what it is that the subtle, like you're saying, the subtle sweetness in the back. It's not a whole lot.
There is
Just-
room in my humidor for all of them.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds like I was
Yeah,
just
what-
going to say, it sounds like we need to make some room in our
me,
humidors for
me
this
and Mark
blend.
come up with
Yeah.
a different one. But
We're going to talk about that after the show, Will. We got some
we
changes
got
to
some
our...
changes.
Yeah.
I
You
got
changing the ratings?
Yes,
Yes, we are.
After I just put them on Cigar Coop, you're changing that.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're gonna have to be flexible with us.
You're gonna like- you're
we
gonna like-
change all the time. Change is good.
Yeah,
Don't
you're gonna
be afraid
like
of change.
you're gonna like the change. Believe me, Will.
Okay,
You're gonna like the
well,
change,
yeah,
and I
I've seen
promise
it
you,
there.
you probably
Everybody-
won't have to adjust any of your reviews
Here's-
for
No,
the
That's
change.
fine.
Here's one that
We grandfathered them.
Yeah. Here's one I smoked at the show. It's the Asian Room Maduro. I did the Robusto.
Oh.
Now, did you smoke it again after the show?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And at
Love
the
that
show, I gotta go on Coop's site, and if you read what he said, was dead on accurate. I didn't want to
in
give
terms of smoking the cigar at the show.
at the show,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I said this. This is where I go back to what Antonio said. You got to be careful what you want to do because if you release it too soon, the educated palate, whoever that person is, will figure it out. And,
Right.
and I don't mean to be a snob by saying that. Some people don't get that, and you release it too soon. At the show, I said, this is good. This is interesting. Well, I revisit that cigar, and it's the 5x50, what I did, the wrapper is San Andreas,
Yep.
the wrapper binder is Nicaraguan, and I'll tell you what, this cigar now is morphed into, it's minimum box split. Minimum box split.
Oh, it's got 90 more days. It's 3 months.
Yeah,
on it.
I'm
3
telling
months,
you,
yeah.
this cigar is really, I'll tell you, it's. I'm not going to say about the wrapper. I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but what I'm saying about this smoke, it really it has changed. It is really delicious, spice. I got a little mocha flavor off it. It's
Yeah, I find that
really-
Maduro wrapper. Yeah,
It's
you
really,
can see
really
that.
a little nuttiness off it, and
Yeah.
I really, really enjoy the cigar more and more and more. And I think, what was the price point on that? I forgot what that. I think it was like $7. It was just under $7.99.
You guys carry the Atrium Maduro
Oh yeah,
here.
yeah. That's what I brought it in, and I'm telling you.
I smoked one on the show the last time we were here.
Yeah, right.
As a
Right.
matter of fact,
But
yeah.
I got to go back to what Coop did on his site, and he hit it dead on. He didn't want to make that a total assessment right away. Is
Yeah,
that what you said,
yeah.
right, Coop? If I remember right, on your site.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure. I'm 100% sure because I remember reading that when whatever. Now I'm telling you that cigar is smoking really well, very well. Anyway, Paul,
I smoked a Perdomo even Edition de Silvio.
what was the first word?
I don't know what I said.
I don't know what he said.
Perdomo Edition de Silvio Salomon Natural. This is the new limited release from Perdomo, and this is a gigantic Salomon size. It comes in an individual coffin. The retail price is around $30 for this cigar.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want. I mean, I don't want to bring price into the mix right away, but when your price gets above $20, you kind of have to factor that into the equation when you're paying $30 per cigar. It's 2 hours plus of smoking time. I tell you what, though, the flavors won't disappoint. I was actually really impressed with this cigar. Has a very nice sweetness that, in a lot of cigars, sometimes sweetness comes and goes. The sweetness for me persisted throughout the entire smoke. It had some nice change-ups. I would say that the caramel flavor is very prominent in the middle, and it gets nice and toasty at the end. I really enjoyed the smoke. I'm going to throw price out the window. I'm going to say these are box-worthy, right? But take price into account. You're not going to go buy a whole box of 25 of these at $30 a stick probably. And granted, the size, I think, is going to play into that too. I mean, to smoke a 2 hour plus smoke all the time, I think would be tough. But my rating is box worthy. I thought the flavors were really, really good in this cigar, and I really, really liked it.
I'm going to lean on Paul on this one. That's from his grandfather. That's what it's all about, Nick Perdomo. Now, Paul, help me out.
That was Nick's father.
Nick's father, was it? Okay. Though, I'm going to tell you something. Paul had some. How old were they? The ones that you had?
Jeez, those things had to be, God, I'd say 6 years old.
It's funny you mentioned
those.
It's funny you mentioned those.
Aging potential.
I smoked one of those.
Off the charts.
Okay, so I smoked one
Oasis.
of those.
Oasis.
I smoked one of those too. I didn't find it Oasis.
I did.
So I smoked a Perdomo Edition de Silvio Robusto. This is the
I did the
Maduro
Maduro.
wrapper, and this is the
Right.
older ones
Right.
that you guys have. I had it as a try one. This was the older offering, and I don't know if these have kind of aged out a little bit.
How long ago did you smoke that?
I smoked it recently, like
That's
this week.
probably why.
Yeah, I smoked it this week,
This was
which
like
was probably a year after you gave it to me.
Yeah.
After they were
Maybe
aged for a
they
while.
aged out
Yeah.
when.
It's a nice
Oh,
stick. It's
God.
very smooth, but the flavor is just never really developed in there for me. So I think
Maybe
it
they
lost a
aged
lot of
out.
the
Oh.
lost a lot of the flavor.
Well,
I
but-
say try one if you can find them, because it is a good smoke. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's very, very smooth.
For me, I find it to be a specialty cigar, whether
Yeah.
it be an anniversary
Yeah.
or
Right.
a wedding. It's not nobody's spending $30 on an everyday cigar.
Right.
It's not an everyday cigar.
Were the original ones? Were these priced pretty high too?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. They were like, 6 years ago, they were $18, $19.
yeah.
So,
That was Robustos.
That was Robusto.
And those were the
Not
Robustos.
the Salomon.
18.
Yeah. Like I said, it was very smooth. The flavors just weren't there, and that very well could be of age. But if you walk into a shop and you see one, buy one.
That
I mean, I'm saying try
toastiness.
one. Buy
Oh,
one just to try it because it.
They're worth it.
It's worth
they
it.
are.
It's worth it. I was glad I smoked. I wanted to smoke one of the older ones and one of the newer ones just to kind of compare and contrast. I mean, from Perdomo, that's definitely my favorite of all of the lines they put out is these special releases. They did a great job blending
say
these
the
cigars.
least.
Can we
Yeah.
backtrack 1 second? We're
Sure.
talking about the aging room. Have you smoked, was it the M20? The
The Famissimo. Oh,
The Fortissimo, whatever
Yeah,
it is.
M21.
M21. Have you smoked them
yeah.
recently?
Oh, God.
I have not.
Oh, I thought you did one not too long ago.
No, the last time I had one was when they first came in here.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Anything
that-
else? Aged.
It's helping that cigar. Remember, you were just saying you did a great job on the assessment. It's the aging on this is getting better and better. The cigars are now becoming much more balanced.
I'll tell you,
I
you
get
know,
that nice
it might
caramel
be,
flavor
it might
on the
sound
aging
crazy
But the
with
pepper off that is incredible.
And some pepper and spice too. Yeah.
It might sound crazy that I mean their name is Aging Room, right?
Right.
But all of their cigars age well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had like an M350, M356.
356.
Yeah.
is
The
great.
first ones that they
Remember
came
that?
out with. The
little
Presto was a little Rothschild
Yeah.
size. I kind of lost one in my humidor. I found it. It has to have been in there since you guys got them.
Yeah, and we
For
only
the
got a
first time,
box
which
left.
what was it, about a year ago or
Yep.
something like that. That thing was awesome.
Great
Like,
call.
awesome.
Well, I know you got a lot of sticks on your list, so go ahead and go next.
All right, so this is the one you guys are gonna laugh at me about, but the Monte Cristo New York Connoisseur Edition, I smoked, and this, the way I just kind of say this is not your father's Monte Cristo. This smokes like no other Monte Cristo I've had, and when I say Monte Cristo, I'm talking Altadis Monte Cristo. This this is probably this was one of my favorite cigars last year. In fact, I had it as my number 2 cigar, and a lot of people laughed at me. But when you smoke this thing, it's just an absolute explosion of flavors. I put a lot of flavors down on there. I put flavors such as dried fruit, chocolate, baker spice, raisin cream, natural tobacco, citrus, and red pepper. There's a lot of flavors on there. When you smoke it each time, you're going to get some different nuances, and I think your senses are going to pick it up a little different. So I don't want to say it's going to be 10 flavors hit you at once, but you'll get a lot of good flavors, a lot of great complexity. Now, this blend is an Ecuadorian Habano, Nicaraguan binder, and Dominican filler. It's similar to the Epic blend, but I think the Epic blend, the binder is Dominican. But it comes in a 6x60 box press, which surprises me as well.
Wow.
I had some burn issues last year at the beginning when I started smoking these things, but the burn issues, I don't know if it's just time or different batches. But
Now, is this a regular release or is this a direct to store? You said it's a New York Connoisseur edition, right?
Oh, yeah, good point. It was a cigar that Altadas released for the New York market. Now, about 2 years ago, a bunch of companies started doing this. So Alec Bradley did it first with the New York before they took it natural. La Aurora did something called the Broadway. Gurkha did one.
Yep.
They were mixed results, in my opinion. This one was the real deal, where it's just, like I said, really just kind of hit it out of the park. You can get this nationally in a sampler pack of regional. Altadas released a regional sampler pack, which consists of a New York regional, a Chicago regional, a Las Vegas regional, and a Texas. I haven't had the other 3. From folks who've had the other 3, everyone says the New York one just stands apart. It's a Chuck Norris fight in my book with this
Nice.
one.
Ooh, which one was that one?
Monte Cristo.
Monte Cristo, New York.
New York Connoisseur edition.
Yeah, and
Wow.
I meant to get you guys some, and I just was my head wasn't on straight New York, as you guys know. So
No, that's
when I
fine.
come up, I'm going to be stopping through New York, and I'll get some.
Coop, have you tried the new Monte by Monte Cristo?
Yes, I didn't put it yet in show notes. I really liked it. I'm surprised how good it is.
Let me pick your brain, because one of the problems that I find with Altadas, I just find a lot of this stuff gets one-dimensional sometimes. They just make so many cigars. But I smoked it, and I have to tell you, I smoked it yesterday, and I liked it. In fact, I liked it a lot. But I didn't find it had a ton of complexity. I found it somewhat
doesn't.
one-dimensional.
It's going to kind of stay consistent through from
Yeah,
start to finish. Now, which one did you smoke? Did you smoke the box press torpedo?
No. What the hell was it? Yes, it was. Actually, it was. I was visiting another shop, and I ran into, I forgot his name, one of the big shots from Altadas, and he gave me the box press. And I brought, did you smoke yours yet, Mark?
Yeah.
And
I
I thought it was real good, but I just didn't find a ton of complexity. I found it was kind of straightforward all the way through.
I've always found that the Altadas and General cigars, they kind of just like give you the same cigar over and over and over again.
DNA is just boring.
with a different
That's
wrapper
my
on it.
feeling.
Now, the one that sticks out to me in my mind was this Monte Cristo White edition that they were way overpriced.
Oh yeah.
Not the white band, but no, I'm saying that wrong. It was an anniversary one. It had like a
Yeah.
bigger, wider
Yeah.
band.
Yeah.
They were like expensive, but they were good, really good, as a matter of fact, if I remember correctly.
Oh man,
But it wasn't.
Mark Jr., what else you got on your list?
Oh, I got some other stuff.
You got some good stuff.
Let's see, what else I got?
the next one. Okay, I'll tell you what.
This is one that I grabbed at the annual tent sale. A
Oh,
Viaje.
and by the way, hooray for the annual tent sale.
Yes.
I got some sticks on
Hey,
my
what do you
list.
think of the picture here?
I like
All
the picture
blacked
a
out
lot.
with
yeah,
the-
that's nice.
Well, speaking of that, you got to tell me that little secret of on your iPhone with
Yeah,
the picture.
it's the HDR. I'll show you after.
All right.
Yeah. So go ahead. You
So
get
this was
Viaje holiday blend.
a new the 2012 Viaje holiday blend, 4 3/4 by 54, Nicaraguan Criollo, Nicaraguan. Well, you beat me to it.
Really, the 2012? You're not a big fan of?
No, I love this blend, and it's might be my favorite.
2012.
No, listen to me. The
I'm
holiday
sorry.
blend is one of my top
I
2
agree.
favorite blends from them. This 2012 though was a little bit of a disappointment, especially in comparison to the 2011. I thought the 2011 was great.
superb.
Packs
Yeah.
a lot of flavor in that 2011.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
This is a bigger Vitola. I don't know if that really
Yeah.
played into it or not.
It's got
But
some
it-
earth for a Nicaraguan. It's got some earth.
Yeah, it does. It does. It has some earthy, woody flavors, as I said. But it was not as strong on the pepper, which kind of led to a lack in complexity and strength. And, I bought 6. I don't know.
Can't bring them back. Sorry.
No refunds.
We sell cigars. We don't.
As
we,
is.
we don't retro. We don't retro buy them.
5 of them might be on the chopping block.
So for our listeners, we probably talked about it in the last show too. Here at Mr. J Havana Smoke Shop, they've had an annual tent sale. It happens in the fall. You should not miss it.
It was our 3rd year.
You know what? They joke, but honestly,
Oh,
the
for the
price that I
price.
paid
But
for
yeah,
them, I mean,
it's-
what am I going
it's
to
all
say,
day
right?
long.
Like,
Exactly. It's heavily discounted cigars, and there's always a lot of hidden gems. Most of the stuff they put out is hidden gems.
Last year, I bought all of the 2011s that you guys
Yeah.
had. I probably bought 15 of them, right? And then
bought
this year, I saw them.
everything.
I was like, I might as well do it again, right? And
I'll talk about some of the stuff I bought on the tent sale too.
and
So
the-
go ahead,
the
Stogie
20
Santa. You got more sticks. on
Yeah,
your
I
list,
got
yeah.
a Villager. That's called Talanga. The wrapper is a Connecticut shade grown. The binder is Nicaraguan jalapa, and the filler is Nicaraguan. Now here's a perfect. We gave it to expert Steve here. It's a great way to introduce. I'm telling you, you're gonna think I'm crazy.
It's Connecticut shade, but
Yeah.
it's grown in the Talanga.
Talanga
Valley.
region, right? This cigar, you're gonna think I'm crazy. It's a good medium,
Really?
a mild to medium cigar with just a hint of spice. Just a great way for someone that's on a Connecticut cigar that wants to taste. Well, if they don't retrohale it, they won't taste the spice as much. They won't get it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this cigar is a solid fiver.
And which one was this from? Villiger or Villager?
Villiger. Villiger Talanga.
Talanga. And I'll tell you what, the 6x52 on that one was $6.25. It's
Very reasonable.
Very reasonable. A solid fiver. Unfortunately, people think of the Villiger, and I'm telling you, they're doing some good things with the cigars. Todd Clunes, who's a regional, or is he the regional
I
rep?
think he's
Or the president.
No, he might be the national
National-
sales manager.
Yeah, I've met Todd before. He's
Yeah,
very
Todd,
nice.
great.
Yeah,
Anyway,
give me some
get
samples,
to the point. This cigar, don't be afraid of. You're going to look at it and say, this cigar for
Well, a lot of people look at Villiger and they look at their
That's
machine-made
what
stuff.
hurt.
Machine, I
Can I
yeah,
tell you
yeah,
something?
Yeah.
They don't want to hear it, but a few people have told them, get the name Villiger off it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
'Cause it-
absolutely.
Well,
Get
just
the
for our
name, because
listeners
there's
out there
a
that-
connotation of that.
They make a lot of machine-made cigars, and I've sampled a couple of them, and it's a
I'll
machine-made
tell you
cigar.
what,
I
right?
got room for the humidor for this.
Anybody that's been in my store knows I don't know where to put the cigars anymore. I have so many. I don't need cigars. I don't need new. I'm
Yeah.
not really looking for new stuff.
Right.
And this one took me back. And I said, I looked at the price, and I just, wow, is this good?
And I'm
So we
telling
put
you,
it in.
it's a great introduction of subtle spice, and I really liked it. Just like what Antonio was saying, it's not that typical. And you made a great point, Paul. Is this the new wave, so to speak, with that Connecticut shade or whatever you're going to use on that Connecticut wrapper? It had the body that you would enjoy. It's not a snore. I don't think it will reach box worthy. I don't think it will ever reach that. But a fiver all day long, $6.25. Are you kidding me? And the Lancero I heard some great things on that Lancero line.
Me too.
Some great
Cool.
things.
Mark and I smoked the Lancero at the show when it was young. It was definitely young, and I'm curious to see. I want to revisit that.
Yeah, me too. Because the things I heard at the show, we had wasn't it?
Yeah, it
That was a trying experience. Trying.
It was well. It was also
Maybe
a
I was
trying
drunk,
experience for you
too.
to stand up at
Yeah, I
that
know.
point when you were smoking. So
It's hard to believe.
we won't go there though.
Stogie Santa?
Oh yeah.
Will, back to you. What else you got on your list?
I smoked we had these guys on a few weeks ago from Iconic Leaf, Scott Weeks and Jared Dominguez, and I
Yeah.
smoked their Canoe #1, which is the kayak-shaped cigar of their Recluse blend.
I saw this in your list, Will, and I'm really intrigued because the size looks pretty unique and awesome.
Yeah, there's 3 canoes, and this is the smallest of the 3, so it's a 6x54. It has a Brazilian Maduro wrapper, a Cameroon binder, and a Dominican filler. It I'll be honest, I'm normally not a fan of what I call these artesian vitolas. I normally will stick with a regular Parejo when all's said and done.
yeah.
I think with this line, I'll still stick with a regular Parejo. But this is a classic smoke. It's a good cigar. It's not going to reinvent anything in terms of delivering a flavor profile. It's going to have earth, a lot of woody notes, some pepper. It had a little less sweetness in the Canu, I thought, than the box press Robusto and the box press Toro, which I thought had a little more of that Brazilian Maduro sweetness to come out of it. But I'll tell you what, they really preach about their drawer using the Entubado method. The drawer is phenomenal on that thing. It draws exactly like I like. We were talking earlier, a little bit of that resistance. The burn was perfect. It's a box split in my book. It's a classic smoke. I'd still reach for the Toro or the Robusto before this one, though.
It's just that I'd be careful to call a cigar Canoe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
I'm sorry.
no, it's
I'm just
Canoe.
saying,
That's why they Canoe. They say, yeah.
Oh,
But
Canoe.
I hear you.
That's
I hear your
better.
point. It's
Yeah.
a good point.
excellent.
Paul?
Yep. Next up on my list is a Christoph Lancero. And I apologize, I don't have all the correct information. Maybe you guys can help me out with this.
That looks like it's the Sumatra blend.
And
with
I
the
believe
red
it is
label,
Sumatra blend. It's got the red
Yeah,
band
so
on it.
that-
Says
that's
That's
Christoph.
the Sumatra.
Yeah, and this comes in a Lancero. Now, the interesting thing was I was in a different area of the state. I was in another store, and I thought I saw a Davidoff sign in the window. And I said, you got any Davidoff? And this guy went out on a limb, and he said, I don't carry that. He's like, but have you ever had a Christoph? And I'm like,
Wait a minute. Back that up.
Yeah.
He's got a Davidoff sign, but it has no Davidoff.
no, I might have read the sign wrong when I walked in and just kind of associated, thought he was carrying Davidoff, but he really
whatever.
didn't.
Let's get to the story.
But anyway, I said, do you carry Davidoff? He said, no. He said, have you tried Christoph? And I'm like, wow, there's someone really going out on a limb. Customer comes in,
Yeah, that's
asks for
a-
Davidoff,
that's
right?
a
And you're
stretch.
gonna recommend something else. And he recommended this in a Lancero size. And, it had a closed foot on it, which I think is cool because it had a lot of
love
nice
it.
spice up front. And then kind of really mellowed out as I smoked it. And I kind of see where he was getting at. It had, it's not a Davidoff flavor profile, but it's in the same strength, I think, characteristic category. It was in a Lancero size. And, I couldn't fault him for recommending this if he doesn't carry Davidoff to recommend one of these. Certainly the price point was a lot less than a Davidoff. The flavors for me in this stick didn't really develop enough for me for my palate, but it was a really good smoke, and I enjoyed it, and I commend him for making that recommendation, and I don't think he was too far off the mark.
No,
We don't smoke a lot of Christoph on this show.
No, and
No,
by,
I will
by,
say
the, by
this.
the way, I talked to Rob. I talked to Glenn today.
So Glenn Case is the person
I'm
behind
sorry.
Christoph.
Glenn- so,
he's a
Glenn-
nice guy. I've met him. He's been here in
Super
Mr. J.
guy.
Yeah,
he
super
loves
guy.
us.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is
Yeah.
he epitomizes class. I don't want to go off the beaten. I'll make it real quick. I got Rob. I sent his information,
Yeah.
email, and everything.
Get
and
Glenn
he's
on the
real-
show.
So, whatever.
Yeah.
I'll go back to the closed foot. Here we have 4 people in the studio, and we got Coop on the Skype. On the closed foot, are you cutting that? Or are you lighting that?
Oh, I'm lighting it.
Yeah,
Lighting
some
it.
people.
For
Some
sure.
people are cutting it.
No.
The foot. So what
And,
are you doing?
Ed, so talking about another local rep, Edgar told me, he's like, he's like, Paul, the closed foot. He's like, all it is you're getting wrapper right off the bat.
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah. I'm
exactly.
like, wait, that's why I
Hurrah.
like it. Yeah, because you're
No,
getting all that wrapper flavor.
Phil Zenge was basically chastising Stogie Santa here. He goes, "You should be cutting that closed
No
foot."
way.
No way,
He goes,
man.
It's
"Oh,
the
no."
opposite of a shag
He
foot.
says he
Yeah.
wanted them to he wanted
I
them
said,
to
what are
clip
you,
it.
crazy? This is the whole thing. This is the essence of this cigar.
Absolutely. I
Because,
agree.
again, you must be reading my mind. I'm sitting there. He said, what are you doing? I said, why am
Because
I?
it went through a nice change up.
Yes,
This
right
Christoph had a
away.
nice spice and then transitioned to a mellow flavor. I'm saying try one. This might be in your flavor wheelhouse. It wasn't so much for me.
I actually,
but I
was
thought
gonna-
it was good.
I was going to say we don't smoke a lot of the Christophs on this show, right?
No, we don't. Yeah, we need to smoke some more Christoph.
But I'll tell you what, the
Absolutely.
Sumatra blend is pretty
Bingo.
good to me, right?
Bingo. We can't.
And I will. There's 2 blends that I like that he makes. He makes a lot of blends, but there's 2 that I like that are out there, and Sumatra is one of them.
I always thought the Sumatra was the
one
favorite.
of the strongest. Me too.
Yeah, no, I think it is the best. I think it is the best. The second is the GC. with the Brazilian Arabica.
You know what the GC
record.
originated from, don't you?
No,
all right.
we'll leave that alone.
All right.
We'll wait till Glenn comes on
Leave
the
that
show.
alone.
Go ahead, Mark Jr.
Forget that I said that.
You don't want to do that.
No.
Go ahead,
I
Mark Jr.
smoked I did another sort of line sampling here. I did the Paul Grammarian Reserva Exclusiva.
Oh, no.
now-
I did some line sampling in Paul Gamarian, too, so he's going to get a lot of airtime on this show.
This guy, he's just, if you just, go ahead, Mark. I wanna steal something.
We again at the 10 show, there were some things that showed up there. So I tried some sizes that I hadn't tried before. There are two sizes that we've talked about that are damn near Oasis level.
Oh, Oasis, the Corona.
Yeah, and the Corona and the Grand Panatella
Yeah.
are both like out of this world good. But I tried the Robusto and I tried the Corona Extra, which is a Corona Gorda size. Not to be confusing. There's a Corona,
Yeah.
a Corona Gorda,
Gorda,
and then the Robusto is what I did.
I want to see where you're going on this one.
So
So you smoked all three.
yeah,
Yes,
but they're
yes.
all like the traditional Vitolas of what they would be. 5.5 by 42 for the Corona, 5 by 50 for the Robusto, 5.5 by 46 for the Corona Gorda. It's
Nice.
a Ecuadorian wrapper, Dominican binder, Dominican and Ecuadorian filler. This to me has turned into a blend of extremes. When I say this, there are some things that are extremely good, and then some things that are extremely unremarkable.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll get right to it. The Corona Gorda falls in the extremely unremarkable realm of it. It was literally like smoking air. I smoked half of the thing.
yeah, you were telling
and
me that.
did not
Really?
get a single flavor off the thing.
No.
So I threw it
Dead.
away. Done. The Robusto was good. Good.
Doable.
It was good, right? It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. But then I smoked a Corona, went into my humidor, grabbed out the Corona. None of those were at the 10 sale, unfortunately. I think we might have played a part in that.
That was the other sale,
That probably has
Oasis.
taken a step back from Oasis for me at this point. It's getting a little old.
Because you're just going from a 46 to a 42 ring gauge.
Yeah.
The length is
it's
the same.
stepped off from the Oasis pedestal to me. Still box worthy, but it's like light years different, in my
Right.
opinion. The flavor is concentrated, the sweetness, the woodiness. It's just that's a. Trust me, listeners, if you are to try this blend, skip the nonsense. Go right to the Grand Panatella or the Corona, and
The
just
Grand
be done with
Panatella
it.
is incredible.
Yeah,
isn't it?
those are the
I
ones.
just,
Those are the ones.
I just bought a box of the Grand Panatella.
Those are the ones. Those are the ones by far. And we talk a lot about that on this show, that it's a lot. Size really factors in on blends, right? And even if you really like the guy who makes the cigars or the blends, there's still going to be a favorite size, you know?
No, I agree.
We have Paul in the here in his J Grotto Reserva, right? It's phenomenal
Corona
line,
Gorda.
right? That Corona Gorda is me all the friggin' way, dude.
I-
all the way.
And you know,
And in the regular J Grotto, it's the Lancero for me, man. You know,
Yeah.
like it's just that's the way it is. So
and okay, I want to interject something. We're probably all. I want to start with Paul with the Salomon.
Well, this is the first Salomon I smoked. Now, I smoked the Sagita on the Debonair, and every time I heard you guys talking about Prime Rib, I thought you were crazy. I simply didn't get it. I mean, I found spice, complexity, and now I'm going to look like a schmuck because I'm smoking the Salomon. I'm halfway down on this monster cigar.
Yeah, you've been
I don't-
smoking that at a pretty good clip, too.
Yeah, and
You've
I-
been sucking. That's
Yeah, you have been. You've been working on that
I
pretty
haven't
good.
been-
He's talking and smoking.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't been talking as much. I've been smoking. I've just smoked this thing, and my mouth isn't the least bit dry, and it's almost like, I guess I know what you're talking about now, watering from like that
fatty type
that
flavor.
fat with that
See?
fattiness that gives it.
Now,
a
I'm
juicy
smoking a
kudos.
Sagita right here.
It's
Totally
like juicy.
different.
I'm smoking a Sagita right
Night
here.
and day difference.
It doesn't have it at all.
No.
Not at all.
No.
It's got more spice.
Literally not at all.
I thought you
It
guys
doesn't
were
have it.
insane when you're talking about prime rib and fat.
I'll
I'm getting
liken it to
on
this,
one.
right? When you smoke the bigger ones, it's like chewing on the fat.
Yeah.
This is like licking the rub off
Well,
of the
no,
roast
no.
beef.
No. Chewing on the fat. No,
Yeah.
seriously, you ever do that? It was fun. We went out to eat.
Anybody who eats a damn steak better. chew on
No,
the
wait a
fat.
minute.
Like,
It was
let's
so
be
funny.
serious.
And we all know Mark likes to rub the meat.
Yeah,
too.
So the best way
Fair
to put
enough.
it,
You got me.
me and Phil. And
There's
Paul,
the title for the episode, Rub the Meat.
Yeah, right. Slap the meat.
And it's episode 69, How Fitting.
Two can chew. Anyway, Phil, I, and Paul went out to eat. We had a prime rib at a local restaurant. I'm watching Paul. I said, he's eating the goddamn fat. He said, and it is. That mock, you hit it 100%. I tell you, we have other people. Okay, anyway. Move on. I'm going to
Yeah,
mention
go ahead.
one.
Go ahead, Soga Sam.
All right. Here's one that I revisited, the Singular 2011, 2012. The one I did was the 6x52. I'm going to tell you something. When it first came out, everyone went for the naturals. We had some other sites visit this, and when it first came out, they gave it not good ratings.
What's this now?
The Singular.
From Illusione.
Illusione. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Illusione. The 6x52, 975. The wrappers are San Andreas. The binder filler is a Nika. And I'm going to tell you something. The cigar it's gone from almost maybe an angler to a solid fiver to a box split.
Really?
Yeah. It's really.
I like how we talk about transitions now.
The transitions.
The Maduro is way better.
I'm going to tell
Way
you,
better.
toasty, spicy, mocha, express, everything.
From the Maduro.
Than the Maduro. I'm not saying the natural is bad. Some people, like the original Singular, was phenomenal. Oh,
I still have some of those.
That's, yeah.
I have one.
Yeah, right. I don't have any. and anyway, that cigar is Oasis to me. That's my feel. This cigar is really, it's got some bad press in the beginning. Try it. Do it. It's box split to box worthy.
Nice.
It's a great smoke. Try it. I think you will really enjoy it. Paul?
Stogie Santa, I wanted to ask you what you thought about the Paul Gamarian Lancero.
That Paul Gamarian Lancero. Big Pete come in here.
Big Pete's asking in the chat because
by the time Big
Bastard
Pete,
got here before me.
Yeah, he put it. I put it on a table, and I put it behind another box. I was going to tell Paul.
He found it.
I said, Paul, we're going to get rid of these. And I was going to say, I'll take these babies home.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, for a mild medium cigar, this thing is off the charts. Good.
It was good.
It's box worthy all day long. For a mild medium cigar,
I tell you what, from 9 a.m.
God.
to like noon, you could smoke that thing all. I got here and Pete handed me one, and I'm like sniffing it. I'm like, who's gonna cut her in a lighter? And I lit it up while I did my shopping at the tent sale, and I'm like, oh, this thing's great.
I was out here, and here's what had happened. Of course, with Coffee Freaks at Mr. J's. I had a black cup of coffee, and a guy was asking me a question. I had no idea what he was saying.
Yeah, it was
black coffee, and I don't know if it was the coffee or the cigar. The nuttiness that came off that was incredible. That box, I don't know. You know better than I do. How old?
Yeah, it's got to be old.
Oh, jeez. I bet you that box had to be 8 years old.
I was going to say it had to be 8 or 10
I was
years
saying,
old.
I was saying minimum of 5. I tell you what.
Cool. You have to
I was
see
gonna
this
wrestle with
sometimes.
that.
We're setting up out there. They'll get up. We started at 10 o'clock. They're out there setting up at 8:30, 8:45, and you've got these sharks in the water, and every one of them, it's like every one of them's got an arm that's like 4 feet long. It seems they can reach 2 tables across. You've never seen anything like it. They're digging in all over, they're climbing over each other.
Trying to tear open the honey and hand grenades things that have these like decking nails. Yeah. Like some guy sitting there in the corner with his teeth trying to rip
gnawing
the
through the box. He was like a freaking rat.
We say fight
You guys
Chuck
did a lot
Norris.
of coverage of this
We
next
say
year.
fight Chuck Norris for them, but Pete had that box, and I wasn't fighting Pete for it. Pete's like 2 times the size of me.
What is he, 6'7", about 270?
Dude, I'm a big guy, and that dude's bigger than me.
Yeah.
Easily.
He's not
I'm
wider.
6'5", and I have to look up
No.
at him.
No.
Who's wider than me? I
No, I
mean,
know.
seriously, I'm
But-
6'4". I'm 6'4", and I weigh 325 pounds, dude.
Pete was
And
very nice, but
320s in your chest.
Pete he's in the chat, and Pete did he did give me one, and I'm very thankful for that. It was very, very
It's
good.
amazing. It's
Yeah.
truly amazing. Coop,
Great
what do you
guy.
got up
Yeah,
next?
Coop, back to you.
Okay. All right. I know I'm gonna have to tell backstory with this smoke, but I smoked the Tatuaje TAA 2012.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
And so there was a reason why I revisited this. The main reason was on Sunday, I was getting together with a few guys who are big Tatuaje fans. In fact, one of them was from out of town. So there were three of them. And so I figured I'm going to bring a Tatuaje to smoke. I figured it's a good time to revisit the 2012.
Yep.
So I get in there, and two of the guys have their sticks. They're ready to light up. I forget which Tatuajes are. And I light up my Tatuaje 2012, and it's smoking great to start with. The third guy comes in, and he brings this freaking hookah lamp. Freaking fucking hookah lamp with mojito thing, and I'm like, I'm ready to basically smash the thing, right? And I'm all pissed because I love him. He's my buddy, right? But he's on this hookah kick lately, and I'm like, man, it's gonna ruin my 2012. Is all I'm thinking, and I want to talk about it on the show.
That's all you're going to smell and taste.
Yep.
Well, yeah, lucky. I tell you what, this cigar is a great cigar, and it just, despite the bad aromas in the background, it still delivers wonderful flavors. As folks know, it was released for the TAA last year. It's a Connecticut broadleaf with Nicaraguan binder, Nicaraguan filler. It's a 6 1/4 by 50, so it's a little smaller than the 2011 version.
Yeah, good.
But I love the 2012 with that smaller ring gauge better. It still has the flavors of pepper, coffee, dark chocolate in there. It has that earthy component, so it gives it a real cigar feel to it. I felt it mellowed down from last year. I thought last year this was full strength, full bodied. I think it came down to medium to full right now, but it's still smoking like a champ. It's a box worthy cigar. So, despite the bad environment I was in, it still was a good cigar.
You answered everything I was about to ask.
I probably have one of those in my box right now because I've been eyeing those in my humidor.
I'll tell you.
Great.
Speaking of Pete, we things with the RC 184.
Ooh, yeah,
that's a cigar that we had some that I hid in the back.
Box worthy.
You talk about one of Pete's hidden gems that age. People have no clue.
That blend ages.
Oh,
I've had some aged ones of those.
Oh my! I went to
multiple
Italy.
rounds of aged ones.
I went to Italy. I felt bad. No, I didn't feel bad. I ended up trading some. A guy wanted to give me a whole box. He gave me a half a box of Esplendidos. This is going like 3 years ago for that cigar. That RC 184 is
for one cigar.
No, I gave him 3.
They're big. They're big smokes. Yeah.
Oh, they are.
I know what they are.
Yeah.
I couldn't help it. I said, no. He said, no, you don't listen to whatever. I don't know what the hell he was saying. We drank wine and whatever. We universal language of cigars. I felt bad. Not that bad. I took the trade. It is what it is. But what can I tell you?
He was saying, I'm on
Hey, he probably said, you fucking asshole. But whatever. But those 184s, it's a whole lot of smoke. I can't do the 233s.
No, too big.
Can't do it.
What is
Too
that,
big.
10 inches?
Yeah.
Oh,
9.5,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah. 9.5,
I smoked one
9
once.
3/4.
It's
But that 184 is incredible. But anyway, cool.
So
you hit it right on.
Going
Again.
to the Liga Privada number 9, Will, this is one that you gifted all of us. I smoked mine, and I just gave Mark and Stogie Santa their respective sticks. And this is a limited size. Could you just give me a little bit of the background again on this one?
Yes, please.
Uh-oh.
Coop,
I can't hear you. What happened?
I was on mute.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The actual name of the cigar is the Liga Privada number 9 Pequeño. Is the technical name of it. Now, basically they were playing around with a blend called the Black Rat, but it was basically a Dirty Rat size, and it's more in the Liga number 9 format. Now, what happened with that cigar was Steve Sacco, when he was at Drew, opted not to release it. He felt it was going to compete with the Dirty Rat too much. I kind of told him I didn't think so, as well as a few other people, but he said, they made it, but they opted not to release it. So they were giving some out at the show last year, and then he actually gifted me a few more last year in Chattanooga. So it really is the Liga number 9 blend in a Corona format. I'm gonna let Paul talk about it. We talked about Liga number 9 not having the great aging potential.
No, they don't.
This
This
one's
one
a little
does.
different. This one's
So
exactly.
I said the Liga Number 9 blend is classic, and there's a lot of different tobaccos that go into it. And when they're fresh, they really rock. And age doesn't really seem to help the flavor profile, in my opinion. And they're just fantastic out of the box. This size, however, is really awesome. The flavor is very concentrated. It's got a nice spice. It's complex. It's got that dark fruit that comes and goes. Extremely enjoyable smoke. And thank you, Will, for gifting this to us. I already did a box worthy. This is something I could see myself, if they were available, smoking all the time.
I wish they would release it.
Yeah.
One thing I smoked, and maybe my memories, Paul's is much sharper than mine on certain things. We went to a Drew Estate dinner when we were at Las Vegas, as Marvin and Drew Estates is so graceful to us. Remember when he got married, he gave us bar mishma, hamishma, whatever.
I never smoked that one.
I never smoked it either, yeah.
I haven't smoked it
my
yet.
God.
You smoked it?
Oh,
that was
my-
for his wedding.
Yeah, it was something.
Marvin's wedding.
What I'm saying is that, everything Drew Estates does is always has
There's a meaning somewhere.
There's a meaning
Yeah.
somewhere. Let me tell you something. This is something that everybody gets.
That wasn't even for a release. That was just for the wedding.
For the wedding. I'm going
Nice.
to tell you something. He did it.
It must be nice to be able to blend a cigar for your wedding, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm going to tell you when my daughter gets married.
And you make fun of me.
Yeah. Well, look how much is left of the bottle. You guys are not helping me out. But anyway, wow.
When my daughter gets wedding.
Wedding.
I think I have one more of these. I'll give it to you, Paul. You should smoke this one. It's special. It's special.
What did we smoke at the show that Casey Johnson gave us from Pete's private stash?
Oh,
Some little,
God.
little Corona or something.
It was like he comes up, Casey comes up, and I'm going to tell you something. I went from being kind of like under the weather to like, I was like, wit. And the whole thing is, I said, Casey, can you do me a favor? I says, I'll buy you another drink. Like, can you get me? So I got one left. I goes, I'll tell you what, I'll buy it. He gave me another one. I think.
I forgot what he said.
Well, it wasn't a Cazadora. It was aged, was 3 or 4 years. It was like in between the two, the regular petite and the Cazadora. Oh my God. We were finger burning.
Some of those private blends, man.
And this is from Pete's personal stash. This thing, unbelievable. But anyway, Mark Jr.
I smoked a Puro Sol Robusto. It's 5x50 Robusto. It's a Nicaraguan
stuff.
Puro Habano wrapper. I don't know. This cigar blend is done by Robin Wright, which is a rep of Christians,
Right.
if I'm not mistaken.
I want to see what you said.
And it was brought to market by
Lauren, who's been on the show before, is a local representative for this cigar. She handed me some samples too.
I just wanted to see what you think about this cigar.
I haven't smoked it yet.
and it's brought to market by Christian and the Fabricas Unidas.
Yeah.
It's the only Nicaraguan Puro out of the bunch, and I found the cigar to be nothing more or less than average. It was not unpleasant by any means, but it didn't really shake my, it didn't rock my world either.
Did you find it like being a Nica Puro?
What do you mean?
It's a Nicaraguan Puro. That's what that is.
Yeah.
I thought it was a decent cigar, more than decent.
I
gave it a 5.
Yeah, I gave it an Angler. It had some sweetness and it was medium bodied, but I just didn't.
What size did you go with?
Robusto.
Yeah, that's a smoke too.
I just wasn't crazy about it.
I enjoyed it.
What did you think of it? Because
what I liked about it, it wasn't overly complex, and to be a Nica Puro, it didn't have. It had to be a lower priming or something.
Yeah.
But I don't think, I'm not speaking for him. I don't think he was looking for that smash, and you know how Nica can be, the Nicaraguan Puros can be. It wasn't. But I'm going to tell you, I think it's a great introduction to a Nicaraguan Puro, but for the fact that it wasn't, I didn't find it overly strong. Did you, Mark, would you say medium?
Oh, definitely not. No, it's medium bodied. Yeah.
So, again, you put it in the place for what it is. I found it to be a 5.
yeah, you said it was a solid 5.
Solid 5. And again, that's the best part about different cigars. Mm-hmm. He worked with Christian for a while, and I like the cigar.
I think that's a good definition of the 5. It's something different you have in the humidor. You got 5 of them.
Right.
Yeah,
and again,
yeah,
I
it's
can
good.
understand. I can understand what Mark was coming from, because when you think of Nicaraguan Puro, you're waiting for a lot to happen. and I understand where Mark can come from. I can understand that geek that comes in and waiting and it doesn't anticipate, but it's a nice introduction into that cigar.
I thought it was very flavorful. But you're right. It wasn't explosive.
Yeah.
It wasn't super
No, I know what you're
complex.
saying,
It wasn't
yeah.
super complex. So anyway,
Will, back to you.
Yep.
So, you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So the other reason why I smoked the TA 2012 is because I knew I was getting ready at some point to smoke the TA 2013 by Tatuaje. And so the backstory with this one is they changed the blend for the TA 2013 for this one in that it's based on the Brown Label blend. And what Pete Johnson did is he did three new sizes of the Brown Label blend to celebrate the 10th anniversary. And I had smoked a few weeks ago one of those three sizes, which was the Bone Chasseur, which was a 5 3/8 by 52 like Toro size. And I was like, bleh. I really didn't. I love Pete's stuff, and I'm sorry, Pete, but that one just didn't do it for me. I just felt it was very boring. It was it didn't do much. So I wasn't very excited about the TA 2013 because it really was just a bigger version of the Brown Label. It was a 6 3/8 by 54. I couldn't have been more wrong, and I'm glad I smoked this thing because this one just for that maybe that bigger size and that bigger ring, it was phenomenal. It had pepper, herbs, coffee, and it had this dark chocolate in the background that was subtle. It wasn't a very deep dark chocolate, and it just really made this cigar real rich. It was the flavors aren't heavy in your mouth. It's a medium body. The strength isn't powerful. It's medium. But this is a really, really good cigar. It's a box-worthy cigar. I still like the 2012 the best TAAs, but whatever they tweaked, maybe that slight changes in the size, I'm surprised that it worked better in the big ring gauge. I really like this cigar.
The wrapper on your picture looks a lot darker than
It does, and I don't know if it's the lighting. It seemed darker. I was smoking this in a friend's garage. It seemed darker. And I have another one I'll look at because it doesn't have the other ones have a little more of that reddish tint to it, I would say. And this one looks like a dark chocolate bar, but it did seem darker, this one. I need to put it up against one of the others. I got to say, Pete did a phenomenal job on the banding with this one. That black and gold band is stellar.
Yeah, I like the new bands.
I really like it.
See, but we go again with the bands. We say it doesn't make a difference, but it does catch an eye.
Yes, it does.
It makes a difference. It doesn't make the cigar better, but
No.
it definitely makes a difference in terms of the sellability of it. It's got to.
Now,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Will.
Yeah, I think for Pete's band have always been very simple. So that, what he's done this year with the 10th anniversary, he's done something very different. And the same with the boxes. They're the varnished boxes. So he's kind of, for the 10th anniversary, he's trying to do things a little special. And I think it's good that he's just kind of doing it for the 10th anniversary, and then he's going to go back to the way Pete does things. So I think it's all good.
Speaking of 10th anniversaries, we all have our favorites in different ways. The Havana Cazadore, oh my God. There's a cigar people haven't smoked a lot of. They either go the Regios or Nuella, whatever you want to call it. I'll tell you, there's a cigar that I'll tell you that's bordering on. It's close to box-worthy.
I said it was box-worthy last week I did.
Yeah, it's there.
I thought it was box-worthy. I prefer the Nuella because I like the size better. Mm-hmm.
But for that size of that cigar.
If I was inclined to buy a second box, I might not buy a second box of Nuellas. I might buy a box of those Havana
just to
Cazadores.
change it up.
Just so that I had two different sizes. Yeah.
So at the tent sale, I bought the Paul Gamarian Artisan's Passion in the Robusto size. This blend is very different from everything else that Paul Gamarian has done. When it first came in, I smoked one or two. It wasn't in my wheelhouse, and this one's got a little more age on it. It's still not my flavor profile.
It's a fuller body.
It's a fuller body, and I have to say there is a lot of flavor there. It's not flavors I could really pinpoint in ones that really came together for me. I'm saying try one because I think if you try one and this is in your flavor wheelhouse, you're going to buy a whole box of these things. For me, it just wasn't my flavor profile, and I don't mean that in a negative way by any stretch because. There's some things I smoked this week that just really the flavors never developed. And this one, the flavors were developing. They just weren't ones that met my palate. You know what I mean?
One thing I love about Paul Gamarian that I really love, his DNA always changes. He is, I realize he's all against the media. He's all against everything in electronic situations and whatever. He's got to get a grip. I understand that. But this man is short of spectacular. Some of the things that he does is just incredible.
So
he
I
really
kind of
is.
want to redeem it a little bit because I did smoke a Paul Gamarian Gourmet Series. This is a short Robusto. This is in his regular Gourmet Series, which he offers in a lot of different sizes.
Nice.
This is one I can really get excited about.
That was the first Paul Gamarian I ever tried.
Oh, and aged, and it was just, it was smooth, sweetness, wood, caramel notes. I thoroughly enjoyed the smoke, and I really want more.
Yeah,
The first time I
This
came
is
in here,
this is a box split for me, hands down.
See,
Hands
if
down.
But they weren't like that when I first came in. Those have
Oh,
5 years
interesting.
on them.
Yeah,
that
so
is-
I was going to say this is 5 years old.
See, this
oh,
is what
it
I'm
was
saying.
just
How
phenomenal.
many his cigars age great. They really do.
They do.
And I don't want to rain on his parade. The biggest downfall that I hear from consumers is price range.
Yeah.
But you're going to pay for
Yeah,
quality.
again, I got these on closeout, so
And I'm not going to put him in the same realm as Davidoff. But let me tell you something. We talk about all these top name cigars. I'll say this, Paul Gamarian. When's the last time you had a Paul Gamarian that smoked wrong?
They always smoke
yeah. I tell you
consistent.
what, construction-wise,
Hanky,
his smokes
Hanky-
like I said, Hanky does such a great job with his stuff.
And I tell you what, the Salamone on the
Oh,
PG.
the Symphony.
And Will, you smoked one of these recently too.
I just reviewed it on Sunday, actually.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
He did,
I know.
yeah.
And I said, I that's why we did. I had to do what I had to do with Paul, with Coop. I said, Coop, just take time with this. And I'm telling you, that is a special.
Coop posted a video review for you. Did you see it yet?
He sent it
Yeah,
to me.
yeah.
You wanted to see it live, and
Yeah, because Coop is one of the few people that I can actually taste the cigar while he's smoking.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
And that Salamone was a perfect video review
exactly.
for Will. 'cause
I sat there. Matter of fact, I showed that to my wife. I says, "This is what cigar smoking is. Cigar smoking 101." And I'm so happy that you enjoyed that. You know
really did.
something?
it's really one of my favorite smokes from Paul Gamarian, and one of my favorite smokes of all time.
And they
to be honest
smoked
with you.
beautifully right out of the box.
Oh, absolutely.
From day one.
Absolutely.
Day one.
Absolutely, they did.
I'm going
And
to
they
tell you
smoke great now.
what better
Yeah.
when you smoke a cigar, like what did Jose say last week? You smoke a cigar with an asshole, they
Yeah.
can ruin the whole thing. But on the flip side, when you have someone you share with and they enjoy it, it makes you feel that much better. When you get a cigar that you enjoy and people enjoy it, that makes my day. It makes my whole day. So when I saw that posting, that he did that to he emailed it to me personally. I saw that and I just knew. I think I know Coop's flavor. I'm not the best of anybody, but I'm in the realm, and I just knew he would love that. And the little Coronas, you love the Corona too.
Yeah.
it was a great cigar. I mean, it was
Okay.
just
Mark Jr., we're on to you.
Yep.
You ready to
not
talk-
not
talk about
not to
Opus?
really pump Mr. J's, but Mr. J's also got their I guess this year was a little honky with the Opus, but he got their most recent Opus allotment.
Not much
recently.
left.
And
Wow, you blew through
I
it already.
played part of that.
I thought Paul would have did that.
So
Hey,
It's
you
not-
can't have
he
too much
hasn't come
opus. You can't have too much opus, in
Nah.
my opinion.
yeah.
no, I every single time they come in, I buy 10, 12, 15 of them, and I write with my Sharpie on them what year I got them, throw them away, and I start pulling from the older stuff. So anyway, I got a whole bunch more of these Power Rangers. It's the XXX Bellicoso.
Petit
and-
Bellicoso. is-
Yeah, so I went back and I grabbed one of my old ones. This one was from 2011. I actually got this through a pass on Cigar Pass. It was a good experience. It's a 4 5/8 by 49 Bellicoso. So it's almost like a Robusto, like a short Robusto, but with a Bellicoso, head on it. And Paul and I have made it blatantly clear we're
Oh, we're
literally
all
Opus
Paws.
fanboys, right? Like
When he's coming in the shop, you got to buy him.
not only that, but you and I are Opus idiots at some point.
No,
you know,
I'm
let's
going
be
to tell you,
honest,
I
right?
love Opus, but there's no too big idiots. I love Opus. I mean, these guys.
Expert Steve was in my humidor, and he was helping me organize, and he was, getting some stuff that he wanted to buy off me and help him out in that respect. And he's like, "You got all these bags of Opus."
Gave him. No, don't do
He
that.
goes, "You got all these bags of
he'll be
Opus X."
yakking.
I'm like, "Dude, you can't have any of those." He's like, well, you got so many, and they're all like labeled. I'm like, "Yeah, you can't have any of them." I'm like, you know how much work it is to find them, to bag them, and then have the discipline not to smoke them for 3+ years. I'm like, the oldest bag I have was like 2009, and then I get the some of the sets from 2010, and some of the sets from 2009. I'm like, dude, it takes discipline and a lot of work to find them, buy them, and bag them.
I
and
literally
label
have Opus down to a science, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the red banded ones, so they're triple fermented. They're a little bit stronger. They smoke
they
better
can-
sooner
Sooner.
than the
Yes.
regular
Right.
ones do. So this is a 2-year-old Power Ranger, and it was nothing short of a work of art. Like, it was perfect. The sweetness and leather that really defines the Opus to me was like on full blast. The nicotine was toned down a little bit, so you're really able to get those flavors without getting a buzz.
It's worth the effort, like I said, to find them, age
It's
them,
baffling
date
to
'em,
me,
all that
still
stuff.
to this day, that this blend needs as much age as it does because it's advertised as aged tobacco.
Needs
For
a
whatever
year or
it's
two.
worth, minimum, it needs an age or two, a year or two worth
At
of
least
age,
Yeah.
minimum.
Minimum.
But no, this is my favorite Opus size. Glad I tried it. Every single time I smoke one of these, I'm like,
It's
this
becoming
is
my
Oasis.
favorite size too. Yeah.
Every
It's-
single time I smoke one, I'm
Yeah.
like, this is Oasis. And this one, nothing short of it. It was an Oasis all the way. And I don't know. It is what it is. I'm a fanboy. I've grown okay with that, and I don't have any problem saying that.
Okay, I don't fault you for it.
Yeah, no, I know you don't. There's probably listeners out there that do, but I don't care.
Will, back to you.
I smoked a cigar that's a pre-release. It's called the Miro Special Edition Lancero. For folks who aren't familiar with Miro, they're a brand that's been around for a while. They've actually been sold mostly outside the United States. And earlier this year, a company called Coots set up some distribution for some Honduran lines made by a factory called Campaña Hondureña de Tabacos. So this Miro has been around for a while, this blend. However, the Lancero is a special limited release they're doing for the U.S. market only. It's an Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper, a Nicaraguan binder, a Nicaraguan Honduran filler. I don't have the exact measurement, but it seemed to be a classic Lancero size. It's 7 1/4 by 38. I've smoked some of the Miros already, and I've been impressed. This Lancero was really good. And I talked about last week, sometimes I think Lanceros can be overhyped, because I think some of them don't live up to the billing. This one totally did. It had a lot of complexity, a lot of flavor transitions. It had notes of coffee. It had some wood notes. It had some pepper. It had this herbal spice to it that I really, really enjoy in a cigar, but it wasn't that rancid herbal spice. It was like a real smooth herbal spice there. It starts out medium to full body, it starts out medium body, medium strength, moves to medium to full in both strength and body in the second half. Burn and draw are absolutely flawless on this thing. This Miro's a little bit of a sleeper, and I think you're going to hear more from this line throughout the next year or so. I was very impressed with this blend. When this hits the stores, if you're a Lancero fan, you need to give this a try. I didn't rate it because it was pre-release, but it's got all the worthies of a box split in my book.
Yep. I'm going to come out. I'm a shill, and I'll say it. Speaking of Lanceros, we just got our Lanceros back in, the J. Grotto Reserve. To be honest with you, I was a little skeptical because they were, how old were they, Paul?
Well, first of all, I wasn't going to bring them back. That was just going to be a one limited release.
Yeah, but we blew.
And
right.
like with the other gentleman, first gentleman we were talking about,
Antonio Lam.
Yeah, Antonio Lam. It's hard when you get people asking and asking and asking and say, "What's the matter with you? You're not going to bring this back?" I love that cigar. So we ended up bringing it back, and I didn't have any for about 5 months, and we got them in, and they only had about 8-9 weeks age on
I,
them.
I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to be totally honest because this is the way we are. It's smoking not to its potential.
Nope.
It's smoking really good. It's right now. I'm not going to lie to you. It's more than a $5.
What's this now?
The J. Grotto Reserve Lanceros. And I'm going to tell you, with the time on that cigar, it just gets better and better. And he wasn't going to bring them back, and he smoked one on his own. And I said, that's fine. And then I did it on my own. And I'm going to tell you something. Lanceros can, and I agree with you, Coop. They can be very overhyped.
Yeah.
They really can, because we'll send you some down. I want your honest opinion. And this, one of the few times that you get limited releases, and you got to be careful when you re-release these things. Just like Paul was mentioning, he's saying, what is a true limit?
I was afraid that the consistency may not
Sure.
be there after such a while, but it was there. But they need a little time.
They do. It's a
I like the
$5.
Lancero, the Jake Grotto Lancero so much. I bought a box. I had Paul sign it, put it away in my humidor.
It's a solid $5 now. I'm not gonna sit there and tell you it's Box and Oasis. You put that down, and I'm telling you, it's Lanceros, or it's there.
That cigar was on my top 10 from last year.
Cool. I know I promised you some petite Coronas in the reserve, and I have not released them yet because I've been smoking them.
I know we were supposed to do them on this
I
show, but
smoked, yeah, I've been smoking them every month. We got them at the trade show, and they were young. I smoked it in August, and it was good. I smoked it in September. It was real good. I will not release them. This is my first rodeo anymore, so I'm not going to release something till it's right where it needs to be. So I haven't forgotten you, buddy. I will.
I appreciate it.
And there were people asking about that size, and that's breaking news here on the show. But yeah, it's
When it's time.
when it's
we
time,
respect
I'll
that,
release
absolutely.
them. It's,
And the other one, the stick on Lanceros, not to hop on this. We the Pete Johnson, his El Trumfador on the Connecticut. The Connecticut broadleaf. We also have some. Oh, it's well over a year now. The Old Man in the Sea. Has anyone smoked those cigars at all?
I have
The black?
Yes.
I have like
No, the black or the
I
the
bought
Oak
one,
Trooper?
but I haven't
Oh.
I don't know. I have
I'm
like
telling
4 of each in my humidor of those.
Yeah,
Old Man in the
I'm
Seas.
sitting here. It was ironic.
Yeah.
I opened up, and it got. We discounted very, very slightly, and when I say slightly, I mean extremely slightly. I sold more. I sold about 15 boxes of those out there, just by this.
I picked up 2 more, and like I said,
Yeah.
I already had a bunch in my humidor. And
Oh.
both of those Old Man in the Sea releases from Tatuaje, to me, are fantastic. And I don't think they sell as well because I think people don't appreciate the Culebra. They kind of look at it as this kind of weird thing that they're not smoking all the time. And I
Oh.
tell you what, I went back and smoked some of those Culebras, and I'm like,
Are
I
you
reviewed on the show.
insane?
I was like,
Yeah.
holy crap, these
Culebras
are awesome.
are just not a
Right,
real
we-
easy sell.
That's something, Coop. You should really look into. We can
Well,
hook you up with that.
You know, speaking of
They look gimmicky.
yeah. Well, and speaking
Although
of
they are not. But they look gimmicky.
speaking
that-
of
We need to
kind
do
of
a-
gimmicky sizes, I smoked a La Gloria Cubana. This is the De Obelisk. This is kind of like a box pressed little torpedo thing.
It looks like a shark.
It does kind of look like a
Yeah.
shark.
like a shark. So
It- yeah.
what's the dimensions? Give me the dimensions.
I don't know what the dimensions are. I don't
Oh,
know.
what? Jesus,
sorry.
God. What's
God.
all these? We are geeks. Oh.
So I said it's a pretty cool shape. It's got a nice burning construction. The flavors were very typical of your La Gloria Cubana kind of flavor profile. And there are some releases that kind of step outside that flavor profile. This one didn't. There was a little bit of spice, some earth and wood notes. Nothing to really write home about. If nothing else, it's really cool to smoke this cool size because, like I said, the burn and construction were great. I'm saying try one, see if the flavor is something that you like. These are aged in my humidor for probably 2 years plus, and I thought they were good. You know, like I said, try one, see if you like it. It didn't really wow
I
me.
have to tell you, I mean, I feel like I somewhat soured on La Gloria. I just go back to like 95, 96, smoking Lavelle Maduros.
Yeah.
And those cigars from back
Oh,
there
yeah.
when
I've
Ernie
had
was
some
making them.
I've had some Charlemagne's that have been fantastic.
Oh my
from
God, they were
the older,
so
the
so
older
good.
ones. Yeah.
Once he sold to General, it just changed.
No, I did smoke one of the. I reviewed it on the show before. The Fleca Especial, the Maduro.
Yeah.
Those are really good.
It's
And
like it was a
like a pure
Figurado.
Figurado.
Figurado. So some of the newer
They
ones
had a
were
couple sizes.
Couple of sizes. This one was a Maduro, and I gave it to someone, and he was like, "Wow." I was expecting the La Gloria Cubana kind of typical flavors, and he's like, I didn't get any of that. This was like a really unique kind of smoke.
Yeah.
So they do have some stuff that if you find it out there in your local retailers or online or whatever, those special releases that kind of step outside the realm of La Gloria Cubana are really good, and you should definitely pick them up. This is one, like I'm saying, just try one.
Now, Paul, you can probably talk to this a little bit, but when they were in their heyday, they were like the
Tough
cat's
to get,
ass.
yeah.
Like
You
they
can
were
get 'em.
like it. They were like what people wanted to have.
You know what? I was told this by a real good source, and Ernie always put out great stuff, but it was in the heyday in 1993 or 92 when CA came out, and Marvin Shankin had told someone, he says, I can make or break anyone. And over a bet, he said, I'm going to take one of the smallest guys in the Cayocho region, of Miami, Little Havana, and he said, I'm going to take this guy, La Gloria, and watch what I do. And he took a Wavel Maduro and plastered out there with a 92 rating. And I'm not saying it wasn't worth it. It probably was, but he had all these Monty 2, Cuban Monty 2s, and every time I was getting 92, 93. Overnight, La Gloria Cubana just exploded. That's how much power CA had. And that's, like I said, it was everything. It was the dog. When I would get a couple of boxes here and there.
It would go, yeah.
And you know what? I'll say it now, but I wouldn't say it years back. Ernie met me, showed him my pictures of my store, showed him where I wanted to go, told him what my plan was and my model. And he told me, I am not picking anybody up directly, but he says, I think you're a guy that I just happen to like, and I think you've got a big future. I'll get you 2 or 3 boxes, maybe 4 boxes a month. But if you ever say you got them from me, we're done.
And now look at him though.
Yeah.
His blends are awesome.
I'm
now.
going to tell you,
Yeah.
speaking of
He's
that,
got a lot of home runs under his belt.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
the new EPC, the short runs, the Robustos, if that doesn't land in the top 10, I don't get
yeah.
it. I don't get it. I really don't. If the CA don't put that in the top 10,
One of my favorite regular productions is that Cardinal, man.
You know what's interesting though is that did not start out as a top 10 cigar.
no, it didn't. It just some of the
And a
Maduro?
little bit of age really kind of did
Oh,
it.
it did.
I'm done, Paul.
I was going to say, are you
I'm
done?
done.
So, Will, you got more smokes on your list, or Stogie Santa?
I do.
Okay, go ahead, Will.
All three of you guys had still two.
All right, so I smoked the Davidoff Golden Bands 2012 cigar. And this was a cigar. Davidoff last year started this award ceremony for their appointed merchants that kind of, I guess, do well for them, so to speak. And each of those appointed merchants that won an award got to carry the Davidoff Golden Bands cigar for a year. And I happened to be in one of the stores, which was Draper's in Bethesda, Maryland, and had it, so I hadn't tried it. It's a Dominican Puro. That's a 5 3/4 by 54 Robusto. It's got a high price point. It's a $20 price point. Wasn't an overwhelmingly complex cigar, but it had the feel of a Davidoff. It had that grass, that Henke Kellner grass, hay, natural tobacco sweetness was in there. A little bit of black pepper. It starts out medium, and it definitely progresses to medium to full, and it actually progresses pretty fast in the second half. I'd say if you're a white label fan and you want something a little more amped up, this is a good cigar. I had it as a 5er. I can't really go higher than a 5er. It's a good cigar. It's one you're going to have to think about with your wallet if you're going to want to try it. I'd say if you're a Davidoff white label fan or a Davidoff fan in general, you'll try it. And but I'd say in my book it's a 5er. I keep 5 of them in my humidor because it's not a bad cigar, and certainly it's pretty limited from what I understand, so it's not going to be around forever.
I find some of those Davidoffs, especially the ones that have a more medium to full strength profile, they age really, really well. And, of course, we've talked ad nauseum about the Colorado Claro. Some of their stuff ages just really, really well. Even some of their milder stuff has some good aging potential to it.
Yeah, I was wondering what this tasted like out of the gate last year. I was kind of wondering that. This has probably been sitting in this retailer for almost a year now, so I was kind of wondering where it was a year ago.
Speaking about years ago, in the back of our vault, I pulled. I think we got about maybe 2 boxes left. Mark Jr. bought some, and a couple. I just said, "Give me something different." The 2000. I'll tell you. I know everyone wants the 2009 Oliva Maduros. Mm-hmm. The 2008, that Connecticut Broadleaf. Let me tell you.
Yep.
That's something special. I'm telling you.
I wish they would have stuck with broadleaf.
It's just something.
Well, like Antonio was saying, he said his broadleaf is a really tough
It
to
is
blend. It's tough to work with, as you mentioned in the show in the past.
It
right, you got
is.
to put a lot of moisture in it to get
Moisture,
the
it
mold
is.
around it, and
Hey,
then you got to
say-
let it age because it
We
comes in kind
we
of
did
wet.
with that with Ernesto.
Yeah.
The moisture, the everything. That cigar, I know the 09 from Tim to different people on the show, they love it. Mm-hmm. I think we got just about maybe a box and a half in the back.
What is this? I'm sorry.
The
I missed-
2008
Oliva.
Oliva
Yeah,
V, the Connecticut Broadleaf. I'm going to tell you something. Why they got away from that is beyond me.
Yeah.
Because again,
Some people come out and say they're not fans of Maduro, but then they try the broadleaf Maduro, which is almost like a totally different
It's a
realm,
sweetness.
right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
There's a
it's
sweetness on it.
totally different.
And I think it lends credence more to the Northeast because when we're outside or in the
Yeah, that
garage or
wrapper's
whatever, the
thick
wrapper
and toothy. Yep.
Right, it exactly. And
Especially with winter coming, you're going to go
Right.
out in the winter time.
and
They're
that's
smoking
where,
a broadleaf Maduro,
and broadleaf Maduro, and this is where, when different manufacturers come on, that's where I think some people say it, some won't, is inventory, because when you have Padron, Davidoff, Fuentes, the top. Why do you think they're the tops?
They got the
Because of inventory.
Yeah. I throw my father in there too,
Yeah,
Tons
Whatever.
of inventory.
What
Yeah.
we can add to that. Inventory makes such a difference.
Yeah.
So
It really does.
I need your help with this next one. I smoked a Ramones.
What?
Ramones?
Ramones.
I wish I could see the. Wish you guys could see
Raz?
the picture. No, it says Tobacco Ramones.
I never.
It was
smoked
in here in the shop. I want to say it was
In
a
here?
Camacho.
Oh,
It
that
a-
was
a
Camacho.
Camacho thing.
That was
Yep.
Christian a few years ago.
Yeah.
They were big cigars, and they had 4 different sizes.
Yeah, I smoked the Robusto.
Ramon. Yeah, Ramones or
Ramones?
Ramones. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't remember them?
What the hell was that?
Well, now I know why you don't really remember it, because sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, and this one, it wasn't bad.
Ramones?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
couldn't-
cigar,
I couldn't
right?
sell them.
Yeah,
They were just. But they were what they were supposed to be.
Yeah.
It was an
There was some
inexpensive.
tobacco, inexpensive tobacco notes, not a lot of change ups. It was smooth enough where you could smoke them at that price point. I'm
Was
saying
that a
try
short
one.
leaf or something?
They were very forgettable, as Stogie Santa
Yeah,
can
yeah,
attest to right now.
exactly. Yeah, I found one kicking around in my humidor, so I thought I'd bring it out on the show and tell people it's not bad, but if
It
you
was
can-
inexpensive.
It was inexpensive, and
There's a
it
reason.
was
So
really
it was a
just
Walmart
cigar.
thing, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a Walmart cigar. They didn't last very long, apparently. I'll go through another one of mine. Paul Camarian 15th anniversary Robusto.
Oh.
This is another one that I got on the tent sale that we talked about. And I had not had the 15th anniversary
15th
blend
anniversary
from
is a
Paul
special
Camarian.
blend.
Yeah, and I like the torpedo in this blend, and I bought almost a whole box of those on the tent sale as well because I really like that one. And I bought maybe 8 of the Robustos that were kind of in a bag. The tent sale is, there's a bag here, half a box there. So I bought a bag of these. And how old do you think these are?
Oh, they're going to be, what, 4 or 5 years old?
I'd say 5.
Yeah,
Closer to
5
5.
years old. I really love this blend, and in this size, it worked really well for me. The first third is amazing. I mean, when you first light it up, you can tell that it's really nice aged tobacco because that saltiness, it's got that thick kind of creaminess to it, and it really coats your palate. It gets that saltiness on your lips, You get some woody notes. The final 2/3 are not quite as amazing, but it's still really good flavor, and it finishes good. Doesn't hold up to the first third. to get them on a discount and just to have that first third and have that experience was really special.
I mean,
I really
PG
like the
has-
cigar.
I'm just saying, to set his precedence of what it is for price ranging, who am I?
Right.
I have no idea. But if those cigars were just priced a little differently, they wouldn't be.
Now, I give
they
you one
wouldn't
of
be a
these too,
10 sale.
Mark Jr. What did you think? Did you have a similar assessment?
I was not in a good frame of mind when I smoked this thing, so I'm just going to say that.
I
start out
know
that way.
one thing you
I
left
tried
out
to
of
cheer
that-
up Mark Jr. by giving one of these because the first third really kind of wakes you up. It's like,
I'm going to tell you something. One thing you left out of it, I found a little spice in that.
yeah, but there's still a little spice after 5 years to have.
Not a whole lot.
Yep.
But again, Paul Gamarian just puts out some special cigars. They really do. A lot of people don't know a lot.
To speak
about
to the
this
price
blend.
point, though, right? The 15th anniversary for me, I smoked a couple of the torpedoes, and I was like, at that price point, I don't know if I really want to stock up on them. To get them at a little bit of reduced price point, I'm like, yeah, I'll have them.
Anybody that knows Paul, no one has the balls to go up to him and tell him his cigars are too expensive.
Oh no! don't
You
do
will
that.
insult him like there's no. You just can't believe. You just can't do it. You just can't. I know one person that tried, and like Paul just said, "I don't want to talk to you anymore," and just walked away.
Everybody has an opinion. So, and this man can tell you go fuck yourself, and you believe it. No, really. This man could sell you. He's the ultimate salesman. He is.
Right.
There's not a.
And
finer
I would
gem.
never go into any manufacturer and tell them their cigars are too expensive, right? At the MSRP, I'd buy a few at a slightly discounted rate. I would buy a lot more.
But you are saying it. You're saying it by not buying it. You see,
Right.
you-
Yeah.
You
you're
know the
getting it.
point that you got to make here. Realistically, between Paul here and Stogie here, Mr. Stogie Santa, and Junior and Coop, you guys realistically, and I think this is a feather in your cap. You take things for granted. You guys, your taste is in the 1 percentile, and I got to tell you something. From a consumer standpoint, and Stogie Santa will back me on this. On a retail side, half or 3/4 of the customers don't get a clue what you're talking about. I'm serious.
No, they don't.
Am I wrong?
No.
No, you're right.
You guys are in the elite, and you take it for granted. And you're talking about flavor profiles and complexities and earthy tones. And I'm telling you, there are so many people that are sold, A, on a band on a cigar, and 2, by a salesperson or a pretty salesperson that's wearing a dress. It's amazing
I
how
still get
shallow.
I still get
That's
sold
why
by
I try and wear a
sales.
dress every now and then.
Yeah.
But
I still get sold by a pretty saleswoman in a dress.
No,
once in a
to
while.
speak to Paul's point, the pretty salesperson.
I'm on both sides.
I get hung
I
up on
see
that
both
too.
sides.
I also get hung up on the star factor when the blender of the cigar is here. I'll tend to buy more of that particular cigar because he's there.
It's
and
funny.
it's-
It's funny because
That
As soon
kind
as
of
I see a
thing.
pretty girl, I get very nervous.
I will say
really
though,
do.
we take our rating system very seriously though, and speaking to Paul's point, all the different cigars we smoke and rating them and talking about the flavor nuances. That's why we have the rating system that we do, is to tell the general public this is what we think is really good. So we don't take it lightly when we rate something an Oasis, or we don't take it lightly when we rate something a lower rating either. You know what I mean?
No, and I get where you're coming from, but let me qualify what I said. I walk in probably 300 stores a year. Realistically, I'm in 300 stores a year. Ernie Carrillo, a while back, was in here talking to Stogie Santa and I, and when I asked him what percentage of retailers had an idea what they were doing, he told me a percentage that was incredible. He said 20%. The other 80 were lost. We sell in our store. I walk in stores and I see some of these tobacconists, and they hand sell to customers. And the other 80% sit on a computer, look at a laptop, they're on Facebook.
Yeah.
The guy walks around their humidor for 5 minutes, comes out with 2 cigars. That it? Yep, thank you. Never once tried to upsell. I'm telling you.
And it's not even a matter of upsell. It's about To me, if
They're-
I walk into a cigar store and I say, what do you got that's new? What do you got that's cool?
That's
Or
the number one question
you know-
every retailer gets.
Right.
and they're like, and they have to think about it. Well,
What's that
first of
tell
all,
you?
you've already lost me a little bit.
That's
right
right.
at that point. But then if you give me like, I don't know, the Rocky Patel, blah blah blah, that just came out 3 weeks ago. Well, I mean, I'm sorry, dude, but I'm probably not buying anything at that point, and I'm gonna just go find somebody that will give me something that's good. You know what I mean? Like,
So
That's most of the stores.
No,
what
it
you
is.
want to
It
do,
absolutely
that's,
is.
what we do, we'll all do it. That's why Mark Jr. does get it. I mean, Mark Jr. is an aficionado. There's no doubt about it. He's not. I love tasting cigars. We'll get back to everybody with all the band. No preconceived situations.
Absolutely.
I love that because
we're gonna do more of that.
yeah,
But we
no,
get
no,
those
what I'm saying,
scheduled.
you can put a Tatawai, hey, Jonathan Drew, whatever, on a cigar, and everybody loves it. And I'm not knocking Jonathan or Pete. That's not the question. They smoke a band. And the 1%, 2%, 5%, whatever it happens to be, they'll figure it out. They'll get, and that's why we have Stokie Geeks.
Will, do you have more cigars on your list?
2 more.
Go ahead.
Okay, good.
Okay. One, I smoked this cigar, and this was my revelation cigar of the week. And I think
this
this
is
cigar
gonna
is
be
in your
good.
pack. It's called the Valentia, and it's the Valentia Robusto.
I think it is.
I
I
hadn't
think I
heard.
put one in there.
Yeah,
Yeah, right
this
here.
was a
Right here.
What is
Yeah,
it again?
show it to the camera.
Valentia.
Valentia.
Let me switch to my camera and show it.
Okay, right here. That,
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
a natural.
The-
Okay,
It's
I
an
got it.
Ecuadorian Connecticut, Indonesian binder, Nicaraguan filler, Dominican filler. It's a 5x50. They contacted me a few weeks ago, and they were kind enough to send us some cigars for all of us. I get a lot of requests from companies. I'm fortunate that companies think of us, and I want to thank them. This cigar, a lot of them don't stand out. This cigar really surprised me. It had a lot of flavor. I mean, it was just there was some good complexity in there. The flavors were kind of bolder for an Ecuadorian Connecticut, but it wasn't overwhelmingly strong. It didn't try to reinvent the flavors that you get from an Ecuadorian Connecticut. So it had a lot of cream. It had some citrus, some
I
pepper
love that
and wood.
creamy flavor. I love
Yeah,
that creamy.
the
I love
cream
it.
really, the cream in this one really hits in the middle on it. The burn, and I have some pictures that go up in the full review. The burn was, I mean, this thing was tight, white. The other thing that's interesting about this company, and I'm going to talk more about them, I think, when I review this, is they have a program called VALE, which is Volunteer Assistance for Law Enforcement. So basically, when a tobacconist orders from the company, they receive a credit, and this credit goes to a local law enforcement agency to help buy some equipment for them. So it is kind of a give-back angle on them. It was a box split, and you know what? It could be box worthy. This is a cigar I'd keep around. For we talked about newer smokers earlier on. I don't have the price point, so that's the one thing I don't have, and I'll have to contact them because I think the price point may play into a lot of this. But this is a cigar to look out for. I was real surprised by it.
I got a cigar. I don't know. Unfortunately, I get some cigars that are sent to me from different people. Now, there's a Tatawahe. It's called I can't see. Maybe it's because
Looks like it's from the Saints and Sinners.
yeah. The Mission.
No,
Pipe
it's from Mission Pipe.
Maybe-
It's a
that's a
CQ1 or
CQ1.
something.
I never tried
And California. It's out of California.
it. Okay.
That's a
Really quick, I smoked a lot of Dueña Lancero. I know we kind of raved about
Petite.
Petite
Lancero.
Lancero. I kind of raved about this blend when it first came out, and I really liked the Petite Robusto and the Petite
Lancero, right?
Petite Bellicoso
Okay.
as well. I smoked the Petite Lancero, and it didn't wow me as much as when it first came out. It's almost like age wasn't. It lost some of the edge as it aged, which was kind of disappointing for me. Like I said, I really did like this blend when it first came out. Right now, this particular size, the Petite Lancero, is a try one for me. Again, I want to go back and smoke some of the other Petite Robusto and Bellicoso sizes. But right now, I'm almost downgrading it to a try one because I don't think age was age kind of made it
to.
lost
I have
its
to tell
edge.
you,
You
when
know,
we first got them in, they were flying off the shelf.
Yeah.
And they just went to a screeching halt.
You know why? I'm going to tell you why. Besides the taste, that band killed it.
Yeah, that band is not very pretty.
And you know what's another
And you
cigar?
guys were downplaying the importance
You're
of
the
a
band.
band.
Yeah, but
We talked about this a few weeks ago. Yeah.
I'll tell you, there's another cigar that I was just talking to a rep from Pepin. The Mexican wrapper that they put out is a great cigar. It really is.
That wrapper was on that La Roba, Mexican, and that was a.
If Pepin puts out, I'm going to tell you, if they change and they put My Father, SLR,
yeah.
ABC, CDF, but My Father, I'm going to tell you something. That cigar gets a bad rap.
They are redoing that.
Yeah, I know.
They are going to they're redoing
They're
that.
redoing it. It's amazing. We can downplay. We can say this. That La Roba on the Mexican wrapper is a great cigar.
Absolutely.
The other one I smoked was a Casa Fuente blend, and this has the yellowish goldish band on
Yeah.
the foot. This is a Rosado Sungrown, I believe,
Yes.
not the Cameroon.
No.
So the Cameroon I let age in my humidor for a year, and I thought it was phenomenal. After a year, I tell you
Really?
what,
Cameroons.
that Cameroon on the Casa Fuente blend was phenomenal after a
Just
year.
the opposite
So
with
this
Cameroons.
Rosado Sungrown, I also let age in my humidor for a year, and it was a try one for me. Not anything spectacular. Like Stogie Santa says, it didn't know what it wanted to do with itself.
Yeah.
It was a little bit unbalanced for me. However, the Cameroon wrapper in the Casa Fuente is box worthy in my opinion
I
after
love
a year.
Cameroons. I really
yeah,
do.
They do a really great job with that.
Yeah.
You can
Not- I
smoke
mean,
it at
not-
the right time.
I mean, not out.
Weather-wise.
It's like a $5 when it's fresh. After a year in your humidor, I smoked one of those Cameroons and it was awesome. So I wanted to give everyone an update on if you do see the Casa Fuente, they're supposed to be released to retailers, but they've been saying that for years.
Oh.
I don't-
Oh, please. Don't,
Yeah,
don't.
exactly.
Okay, and a closing note. On real.
Will
like
has
a-
one more.
Oh, Will, go ahead.
One more.
Okay.
Will. Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, Will.
Really
That's
fast,
okay.
Will.
Okay. I smoked the Epicurean Gonzo Vintage 2007, and Epicurean is one of the House of Emilio brands. The Gonzo is a broadleaf wrapper with a double binder of San Andreas, Mexico, and Jalapa. The fill is from Jalapa and Condega. It's made by a guy named Steve Bucidrin, who has been in the cigar business for a while. He actually was my Savinelli rep for a while, but he's more than just a rep.
Savinelli, wow.
Yeah.
They founded Savinelli. That was him. Him
That
and his
was
father,
him, yeah.
Reuben.
Yeah.
His family was in there, yeah.
Sure.
But he actually, about 2 years ago, ventured out and formed Epicurean. It's getting distributed by Emilio now. It's a box press 6x52. It has a price point of $9.50. Nice cigar. It has some cocoa herbs, some raisin sweetness. The pepper was kind of interesting. It kind of had a little bit of an exotic spice. It was definitely different. Medium to full bodied, medium to full strength. I qualified it as a 5. It's actually a nice change of pace cigar. If you see it on the shelf, that's worth grabbing.
Very good.
Nice. We're still taking contest entries from the interview with Jose Blanco. We've received several. I'm going to let it go for another week before we pick a winner for that one.
I think we should.
Yeah.
Do we have the Barry contest resolved? We probably should pick a winner for that soon.
Yeah, we'll do that on the next show.
I think
Okay.
We'll do both contests on the next show and
Okay.
pick winners.
How about
And you had a contest in the last show as well.
Okay,
Oh, that was
well-
the Jose Blanco one. Was
yeah,
your
right,
contest?
right,
Okay.
my contest. What can we do with Paul for the Grotto ones? What can we do? What can we think of?
I got a question. If you want to give cigars away, I got a question.
Sure. What do you want to
Well,
do?
well,
You
what
want
do you
I
wanna give
want to
away?
do the Reserva, the Lancero.
We'll do some. What do you want to do? Tell
I
me what
want.
you
I'll
wanna
tell
do.
you what I want to. I want to do. Okay,
you
this
wanna-
is dangerous. This is dangerous.
Oh, boy.
We're gonna get.
Especially when the bottle was empty over
I-
here.
I know.
And you drank most of it.
I know it. Lancero. I want to do the Corona Gorda.
Yeah.
I want to do the. We're going to put it in there because we got to hit everyone's palate. Let's not be afraid. 6x60 Grotto. 6x60. I want to do a line sample.
Yeah.
Okay. A line sampler. We're going to do a 6x60 on the Grotto. 6x60 on the Reserve.
Well, on the regular, on the regular Grotto, it's a 58. The Gigante's a 58. The Reserve's a 660.
Right. Okay. I want to throw out the Corona Gorda. I want to do the
Lancero.
Lancero, and how about we don't know what we're doing yet. I want to throw in that petite. I know.
Look at the face. You can see it on the camera. The face.
I haven't smoked one in a month.
I think yes.
All right,
throw it
I'll
out
do
there.
it. I'll do it.
All right.
So you get a unreleased petite Corona
Yep.
in the Jake Grotto Reserva line.
Yep.
You're going to get a Gigante in the regular Jake Grotto series, which is really good.
Yeah,
Say what you will about large ring gauges. That cigar is really good.
Listen, you got to throw a Connecticut in there because I'll tell
That's
you.
what I'm saying. 6x60 silk.
Oh,
And then do a
silk. You didn't say
6x60
silk.
silk.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, 6x60 silk, which is the Connecticut. A Lancero in
Reserve.
In a reserve.
And
A
the
reserve Corona Gordo, which is
That's-
one of the sticks.
I'm telling you
So
something.
that's a 5-pack of Jake Grotto series
Right.
cigars. Email us the answer to this question. Where does the name Jay Grotto come from? We've talked about it on the show before.
Yes.
Go
We didn't
back
talk about
in the
it. You got to
notes.
go back in the archives.
All right.
I
Where-
actually found the show, believe it or not.
Yeah,
It's not
there you
that
go.
hard.
It's
I'm
not.
not going to say where.
Where does the name Jay Grotto come
That's
from
right.
for the epic line sampler 5-pack with a previously unreleased cigar?
No
in
one
there?
has it.
No one has it.
No one has
No
it.
one has it. We can
It has
assure
We
you
not
that.
been released.
We haven't even tried it. Here
We
at
haven't even
Stogie
tried
Geeks.
it yet.
Yeah.
No, you haven't. So
haven't.
I'm kind of doing everything I said I wouldn't do.
Wouldn't
I just got done saying I would not let it go.
I'm
until
drinking. He's not.
He's drinking, and I'm not. And I'm,
So
and I'm
for the Jay Grotto line sampler with the previously unreleased Petite Corona,
Yep.
answer the question, where does the name Jay Grotto come from? Email the answer to that question to the show at StokeyGeeks.com.
And it's on a previous episode.
It
It's
is on a
not
previous
that hard.
episode. Email the show at StokeyGeeks.com. We'll pick a random listener from all of those that submit the answer to the question, the correct answer. So you have to submit the correct answer, and we'll pick a random listener of the show at StokeyGeeks.com. And next week, or I think we're off next week, and then whatever.
Oh, we're off next week?
We have we're off next week, and then it's the Friday show
And
the
then it's
week
the Friday
after.
show.
Oh,
Yeah, we're doing the
that's
Epic
right,
Friday
that's
show.
right. Epic Friday.
Which, I tell you what, I've got some fantastic clothing for the Stogie Geeks crew that I've made up for episode 350. We're doing that in support of Wings for Warriors,
That's
which
right.
is a charity that helps out veterans who are wounded in combat. And we've got some very special clothing and patches and
Particularly
things.
relevant
Yeah.
topic with the new government shutdown.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
So
things
we're-
we've been hearing on the
If you listen to the
government.
if you listen to the podcast all day long, early in the morning at 9 a.m., we're going to have Anthony Amin, who is the founder of that charity, who is a wounded combat veteran himself, who founded the charity. He'll be on. Again, we're going to have some special gear for ourselves, and we'll have some extra stuff to give away in terms of Stogie Geeks gear that I just procured today. In fact, I haven't even told the Stogie Geeks crew what it is, but it's
I hope
awesome.
it's a triple
I was there when you did
XXL.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
I know.
It's awesome. So tune in on October 25th, which will be our next show at lunchtime, to hear all of that. And we'll be smoking an Ortega Series E Natural on that show,
Nice.
which will be our cigar for that show. So tune in on October 25th to hear the Stogie Geeks. And in the meantime, check out Wings for Warriors, and please donate to that charity. It goes to a great cause.
Yep.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. Also, don't forget to renew or join the CRA, Cigar Rights of America.
Absolutely.
Support our rights to smoke
Important.
fabulous cigars. Thanks, everyone, for listening, and thanks to the Stogie Geeks crew and Mr. J. Havana Smoke Shop and Paul Joya for having us here again. It's nice to be back here. And don't forget to submit your contest answer to the show at StogieGeeks.com. Thanks, everyone, for listening. We'll see everyone on the next episode.
Very good.
Yeah, it's really late. Coop, you still there? Still there, Coop?
Yes.
We're gonna break down. I know we had some stuff to talk about. We'll have to do it tomorrow.
Okay.
'cause
Yeah,
it's-
we went late.
It's late. We went really long on the show, which is fine, but
Yeah.
because we don't have another episode for another couple of weeks, so
Yeah, that's fine.
it's all good.
Wow.
Take it easy, Coop.
Take
See
care,
you
guys.
soon, buddy. Or talk
Thanks,
soon,
Coop.
buddy.
I'll help.
Thanks.
Have a good
okay.
one.
Okay.